Hey guys, it's J19 brought to you with a live stream, and yes, we are back. I have some friends with me. One of them is not here. The other one, actually, two of them are not here yet. One's on his way home from work. One is not here right now. I don't know. I'm gonna throw him a message real quick. But I do have Brandon, Zealous Runner. He is here with me. He is
Zealous.
Zealous. Sorry about that. He
It's fine.
is also live streaming this uh, podcast spoiler discussion, but most importantly, we are going through Zack's role and possibly could he be on the same timeline as Cloud and the party? Interesting. So if you guys want more contents like this, as we press on towards part two news and review trailers and stuff like that. Feel free to like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification, stay notified when I go live, or upload my next video. And with that said, feel free, Brandon, to do your little introduction of what you like to do, and then we'll get started.
Alright then. Hello, my name is Zealous Runner, and today I am doing a live stream. I do apologize for not doing any live stream or any kind of videos or any updates lately. I have been very unmotivated to do any kind of live streams whatsoever, so I do apologize for that. I will be turning down the game volume so I can hear myself, and so that way my friend over here, J19, also known as Justin, can be heard.
And chat like normal. I'm gonna do a couple of things, and then we will get started. Can't wait to talk about this topic we have in our minds. I came up with it the other was it last week, and I thought it would be an awesome discussion because not a lot of people are talking about this. Because a lot of people have moved on, they're not talking about part two as much, or possibly what the heck's going on. So I figure, hey, why not us start talking more about remakes, as not many people are right now, other than a couple of channels. So
Right.
we will be going through some ideas. If I have more ideas, I will be sharing more live streams like this with a bunch of my friends. We will be discussing some theories, some thoughts that may pop up in our heads moving forward as we approach whenever Square Enix is able to give us some part two juicy news. Thank you guys for joining the chat so far. It's been really awesome.
I am playing Final Fantasy VII Remake right now. I can't have it like actually playing in the background because I'm not that good at just watching. I have to keep myself occupied somehow. Also, terribly sorry for the voice crack. Jesus. So, do you have anything on your mind right now?
I'm almost done. Just give me one more minute, Brandon. We will get started. Sorry, guys. I'm just making sure everything's good at my end, and we will get going. It's a slow process, but been doing this for quite a while. You guys know me by now, so.
I've only been doing this for like a couple of weeks, maybe. Also, why is Cloud's hair very fuzzy? It's not fuzzy on the actual PS5 version for some reason, but it is now since it started a new game.
Oh my, it's very fuzzy.
I mean, it looks fine in certain lighting, but like whenever it's in like very, very bright lighting, it looks all fuzzy and wonky and things like that. I will also be testing my audio to make sure that everything is okay. I know I'm broadcasting right now, it says so right now. Testing, testing, testing. Testing.
Alright, I think we're good to go.
Yeah. We have one person watching us. I don't know if you see that as well, Justin, but yeah. I can't really get over how good looking this game is. Like seriously, they put a lot of
Right.
effort into it. You can see so much of skin detail. Like go back to even the original Final Fantasy VII and then Crisis Core, which was a huge upgrade already. But then look at this. This looks even better than Advent Children, and it still holds up to this day.
Okay, guys, I think I'm ready. Brandon, this is our point of the discussion. We will get to the juicy points of this whole discussion. We're gonna have another friend of mine join in a little while. I'm gonna throw him a text as we get closer to the main event of Zack's role and possibly be on the same timeline. Our thoughts, what we think is gonna happen, what is going on. But before that, Brandon, here's your chance to talk about your spoiler discussion of what do you think of Final Fantasy VII Remake? Be honest, this is a judge-free zone. I don't care if you hate the game, if you love the game, if you find it 50-50. Feel free to give me your quick summary of it, what you liked, what you didn't like about the game. What do you want to see going forward in Part 2 and beyond? And I will give my little summary, and afterwards you guys know how I feel about this game. But I will let you guys know again what I think. But Brandon, you have the floor, my man.
I think the game is trash and it should have never been made, and Part 2 should be canceled.
There you go. You hear her first, guys. No Part 2 for Brandon.
I'm kidding, clearly.
Of course.
I personally think that the game is really good. Obviously, there's some flaws to it, but the good parts are always overshadowing the bad. Like, one of my favorite parts is, like, the voice acting, for example. The voice acting is, like, really, really good, especially Cloud and Barrett's voice acting. John Eric Bentley and Cody Christian really knocked it out of the park with their voice acting. Also mentioned, Brianna White and... Who's the voice actor for Tifa?
Who's that?
Who's the voice actor for Tifa?
Brett Barron.
Brett Barron, yeah.
Yes. Sorry about that, chat.
I was knocked that out of the park. Red 13 also did very well.
Oh, what was his voice actor? I forgot what his voice actor was. Oh shoot, let me
Red 13's. It was Max Middleman.
Okay, Max Middleman, okay. So, for some reason I couldn't, like, I kept on getting, Matt Mercer or something like that, I don't know.
No.
But, anyways, yeah, it's, yeah, he done a fantastic job. I think that Red 13, I think all the characters were nailed as far as, like, how their personalities were, like, how they got along, and, yeah, sorry to cut you off, I just want to say that part,
Wrong timing, dude.
Wrong timing. Yeah.
Someone just invited me to a game of 2K22. I'm not going to accept the invite because I am doing a live stream right now about something else.
Oh yeah, yeah. I do that a lot. I get invites. So, what is the voice acting? I know how you feel about Sephiroth's voice acting. Have you really thought about how you just let everybody know how do you feel about the voice acting for Sephiroth, Zack, and a lot of those that we don't talk about hardly, like even like the NPC side characters and stuff?
To be frank, as unpopular opinion as it is, I didn't mind Zack's voice actor at first. I didn't really mind.
Right. Yeah, I thought it was a little different. Yeah, it sounded a little different at first, like remake ending 1, but the intermission DLC nailed it.
Mhm. I mean, sure, he was a little bit high pitched at first, like especially during the original remake version.
Yeah.
But he nailed it. The other guy, Tyler Hoechlin for Sephiroth, it's just too different for me. Like, there are people out there saying, "Oh no, it sounds exactly the same." I have good hearing when it comes to things I actually like, and that's not the same. It's completely different in my opinion.
Alright. So, what do you think of the voice acting for like the Turks, President Shenra, Rufus, Scarlet, Heidegger, Reeve. You know, what do you think of their voice acting?
All sound older than Sephiroth.
Oh boy.
In all seriousness, no, I think all of them did really, really good.
That's good. I think they all deserve like a pat on the back for like nailing. I'm sorry, my glasses are foggy or something. I need new glasses bad. I need to find time to get my eyes rechecked, get some new glasses.
I need my glasses repaired. My nephew broke my glasses.
Yeah, I heard about that.
It's like you see this right here. This ain't supposed to bend easily. Like you see this right here, and this bends really, really easily. You'll see it on camera the moment you review my live stream.
Yeah. So let's get back on track. I don't want to like get way off track with different topics. So, folks, I apologize, but we go off on a tangent. The next thing is, tell me what you like the most about this game overall. Like, we already talked about voice acting. What do you think of like the gameplay, the music, the story, the locations, stuff like that?
I'd say my favorite thing about the game is definitely the... Well, that's a really hard nut to crack. But if I had to guess, I'd say my favorite thing about this game is the graphics.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think visually this game blew me away. Yeah.
I was gonna say you better watch what you say, Justin.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry, I'm very perverted. You'll know this.
Yeah. Fair warning, guys. We are going to be spoiling Final Fantasy VII and Remake. So if you guys don't want to know like stuff like that, even though the game's been out for a couple of years, then
2 years.
2 years and some change. So if you don't want to be spoiled, if you haven't played it yet, whatever reason is, feel free to turn away now. But you are on your own. So with that said, all bets off. We can talk about.
Obvious that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Justin. I think it's. Go ahead.
I just want to say that I just want to get out there. If you guys are like being spoiled, like that's your fault for being here now. So all bets off. So.
Yeah, it's not our fault. I think it's pretty obvious if anyone ever watched my live stream of this game, which this is the only one, I think. You would always see me like turning around to see the details on their faces and stuff like that. The game overall just looks chef's kiss. I mean, you could tell what every single bit of the texture is supposed to be. Like, if you see like a metal crate, you know that's metal. You know what metal feels real life. If you see something that's steel, you know it's steel. You know that's heavy. Not once have I looked at a texture and be like, is that supposed to be metal or is that supposed to be wood? Not once. Except for the metal, except for the doors in the PS4 version.
Right.
That's actually a wooden door. It's not metal. It was just so bad. We thought it was metal with the textures and everything. But no, that door is wooden. Wooden.
Right.
It's not metal.
Yeah, like Intergrade blew me away. Like with all the texture upgrades and stuff. I know some of the NPCs. They still like to. They didn't get a whole lot of good details in their clothing, but they do look a little better. Like they're not popping in every second. So what do you think of the combat? What do you think of the gameplay overall?
The gameplay is like really, really smooth. I tried playing Final Fantasy 15 the other day. Like not the actual Final Fantasy 15 itself, but the online DLC, Comrades.
Yeah.
And boy, it is really difficult to play.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone saying that Final Fantasy 15 and Final Fantasy VII Remake has the exact same combat, they're wrong. Like dead wrong.
Yeah, I think to me, the gameplay is kind of has things from a lot of different games. Like it does have a little bit of Final Fantasy 15 to it. There's shortcuts
because of the staggering system.
Yeah, 13. It's also got Kingdom Hearts flair to it if you do the shortcuts.
Mm-hmm.
The weapon abilities, like learning abilities with each different equipment, that's from Final Fantasy 9. The freaking upgrade system for the weapons and stuff reminds me of like Final Fantasy 13, like the Crystallium. Um, that's just to name a few. And boy, it's fantastic. So what else? What else do you like about the game?
The characters overall is like really good. The only character that kind of to me got butchered a little bit was Sephiroth.
Fair enough.
And I say that not because he appears a lot, but it's exactly like what he says and the way he sounds and stuff like that. Like he
okay. Like what? He's just he's too cryptic at times.
No, that's not the problem. The Sephiroth in the past was also at least a little bit cryptic, but that's not the problem. The problem is the way he says stuff like, don't deny me, embrace me. That doesn't sound threatening at all. It sounds more like, give me a hug or something like that. Like, to me, that doesn't sound threatening at all.
Yeah. I understand that one.
Also, the voice actor himself, which I'm not blaming anymore. I was pissed off about it, but I'm not blaming him anymore. He doesn't exactly have enough conviction and command in his voice to be Sephiroth, in my opinion. I mean, I could be wrong. He could prove me wrong in the next one, but like, imagine someone who's like 7 feet, looks threatening as all living Bugenhagen. I'm trying not to curse because it's your channel.
I know. I appreciate that. I won't get taken down. They'll probably get a copyright claim or something.
Copyright claim for
or something. Bad. Because what's funny is, sorry for going off a tangent, guys, but like
I have to eat.
Okay. All right. Brandon's gonna go eat. I'll take over from here. I'll talk about my
goulash.
That sounds good. While you go eat real quick,
right back, guys.
And I'm gonna talk about how I feel about this game again. I think this game overall is fantastic. You guys know my personal score. I give it a 10 out of 10. Now, critically, I have to give it like a 9 out of 10. You guys know that. It's not perfect. The combat could be a little better. There's some nitpicks in there about like being interrupted. It costs you an ATB and MP, especially if you're casting magic. The camera does get a little wonky at times. The aerial combat needs to be tweaked. I will say this, like I know people said hitting loading, you're controlling it, but I think that the PS4 really held this game back. I know they want to kind of keep it linear, which is fine, but to me, I think that if this game was actually like pushed onto the PS5, I think that we wouldn't have the whole hidden loading. The game would be a lot better. Other than that, it was good. I do have questions about the ending, about Zack's role going forward, which we will get into that soon. I'm going to see what Brandon thinks of the ending and stuff like that when he gets back, and then we'll move on to the main event. But right now, I'm still going to talk about how I feel about this game. I thought the characters were fantastic. I think they nailed every single one of the characters. Now, Sephiroth, he's fine. I liked his voice. I just think that Tyler, just like the other guy, for Zack, they need more time to improve upon their voice acting credentials for the characters. Credentials, I don't know why I said that, but like really get in the zone of like who Sephiroth is, of who Zack is, and Intermission. He done a fantastic job with Zack. Sephiroth, I think Sephiroth was fine. But with people like Brandon, like you said, he didn't find Sephiroth's voice actor to be like really hitting the nail on the head with Sephiroth's role, his personality, his character. But I think that with a little more extra time, I think he can nail Sephiroth's character. So I don't think there's going to be an issue with that. Now, Intermission, I feel like they were on the right track with the gameplay. The camera wasn't too crazy. The aerial combat with Yuffie was fantastic. Like the type of stuff that she's able to do, like she can counter, not counter, but like dodge in midair with a certain thing. I thought it was freaking fantastic. And for her to be able to attack enemies in the air, like you push like think triangle and she like zooms in, like yeah, she zooms into her weapon. Like you can keep hitting triangle and she's like attacking it in midair. The flying enemies. I thought that was fantastic. I hope that they can fix something of that with the other characters. So, and the team up attacks, I cannot wait, of course. I thought the synergized attack with Sona was fantastic. You guys know my review on that. I just feel like it's they're definitely on the right track. And everything that they done with the game, like the nods, the references, I thought it was fantastic. I'm tired. The elephant in the room is what we're going to talk about tonight, and we'll get to that when Brandon gets back here. I will be getting a hold of another friend to see if he's able to join. I messaged the other guy. Apparently he can't make it right now. He hasn't messaged me back, but he did give me his notes, and we're going to talk about everything he has to say. We're going to go through each section of his notes and give our thoughts on it, read it to you guys. Brandon just thought that it was going to be 9:30 his time, which he's an hour behind. So it's like, I told him 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, but apparently he had to go eat. So it's like, oops. So it's my bad on my part, or on his part as well. So for now, I think we'll just we'll play a little bit of this until he gets back. Talk about, because I've been going through, this is like my third file, and I've been going through listening to everybody talk. Like, I got to the point where an NPC somewhere in this area, I think I know where she's at, and she mentioned about Junon, and how she'd rather live in the slums here than Junon. I thought that was awesome world building. And it gives me like an idea how Junon's going to be. And since I'm here talking about this, I could share my little thoughts about Junon. I think part 2 is when they show off Junon, it's going to be probably the second or third biggest area we'll go to, like city. It's going to be just like Midgar. The bottom level is going to be like the slums, like polluted fish. The waters are polluted, fish are dying. People are not living a good life, like they're struggling to get by. And meanwhile, the upper area where the Junon cannon is at, or Sister Ray cannon's at, that's going to be like the upper play of Midgar. It's going to have rich people up there. It's going to have Rufus's celebration of him becoming president, and it's going to have shops, and it's going to be lively. I just can't wait to see how that looks. But it's just going to look similar to Midgar. It's going to be industrial. It's going to be like by the sea, by the ocean. See a whole bunch of ships there. We're going to fight at least 1 or 2 bosses. It's going to be awesome. I just can't wait to see that. And it just dawned on me when I was playing through this. It's like, I'm 4.5 hours into this. Of course, we've been talking for a little while. That's crazy. Like, you just take your time and listen to every NPC like 2-3 times and just see exactly what they say. And I would not know about that. Like, she actually rather live here than Junon. How bad is it in Junon right now? You know, it's interesting. Overall, I think the game's pacing was fine, fantastic. I think the gameplay, like the different styles that each character have, it's just great. It's great, man. As soon as Brandon gets here, we'll get started on his dislikes of this game, what he wants to see improve on part 2. I also want to then move on to the main event, which I will be getting hold of my friend. And anyways, here's the door. Like, look how good the doors look now. You can't see that one, but yeah, doors look a lot better. It's just, man, I can't wait to get started on Zack. I guess I could. I guess give you guys a little example of what I'm going to be talking about. I think Zack's role going forward is he's going to be like a support role. He's going to play as in support role in like the story, like how to defeat Sephiroth. He's going to play a big role in that. And on top of that, Zack being on the same timeline as Cloud and the party and stuff, I think is happening. I think that the Beagle timeline is gone because we defeated Fate, we defeated the Whispers, we defied Destiny, if you will. Even though Sephiroth wants us to defy Destiny with him, so apparently Destiny is not set in stone. It's heading in that direction. But, I just feel like that with us defeating Destiny, defeating Fate and stuff, I think that Zack is on the same terror timeline as Cloud and Tifa and them. I think Biggs being alive, Wedge is definitely alive because by PC gamers finding out that he only dropped like 20 feet. And I feel like, man, it's all setting up to find out. Once we see the stamp bag, which I think is going to be in Calm maybe later on, maybe they're just going to like play around with us a little bit, make us think, wait, what timeline we are on? And then we see the bag, and that's going to give us our answer. Maybe they're going to toy around with us, but I believe in my heart that they're on the same timeline, the Terrier timeline. So that's all I want to say on that part until we get to the subject at hand. Look at that.
I won't lose.
Deal with that.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, we'll play this for a little bit, wait for Brandon to get back.
Taking over.
Bye, Tifa. Damn.
Nothing to it.
But yeah. Anyway.
This won't take long.
Not at all.
My rats, let's do this.
Take the lead.
All set.
Bam. Well, we're gonna use focus thrust on the rat. Bam.
Bring it.
It's over. Yeah.
Oh, come on, people. What are you doing? Unbridled strength. Whoa, you guys see that rat? That one went flying, yo. Watch this. Omni strike. Boom.
Would kill for a shower.
Alright, Tifa. That's enough of the shower business. But yeah, I just think that they're all on the same timeline, and I just can't wait to see what they go from there. I hope they hit the beats of the original, the major beats. I hope they don't change it too much, because that's what a lot of people are looking forward to, like a lot of the major beats. Bam.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go, Cloud. All right.
Easy.
Come on, stupid little rat. Yeah.
No surprises there.
Bum 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 bum. Oh, I'm supposed to be playing this on. That's right. Normal classic for this file. Oops.
Seriously.
Come on,
I got
Tifa.
it. There. Bring it.
Let's see. Umbrella thing. Bam.
Watch yourself.
That's awesome. Okay. It's over.
Worked up a good sweat.
That we did, Tifa. Tifa.
This won't take long.
Not at all.
Alright, I'm gonna try to get a hold of my friend here, and we're gonna see if we can get a hold of him. Wait, it's been a while since I've done this. Hey, better off. I'm just gonna wait. He's not home yet, so we'll continue to grind while waiting for Brandon to get back. I apologize, guys, for this. I thought we had everything under control, but let's see. Choose a potion. All right. I want Brandon to finish up the spoiler discussion.
Compared to us, at least.
Alright, Braver.
Keep it together.
Let me handle it. That's that. Okay. Ha! It's over.
Oh, bam.
Too late. There.
So long.
Alright, here we go. We got more rats.
Bring it.
Ooh.
You're good at this.
Told you so. You asked for it.
Bring it.
I got this. Here.
Omni Slash. Over 400. She's doing freaking good.
It's on you.
I got this.
Alright. Camera needs a move.
That's that. Let's
Not
go.
bad, Cloud.
You're dead.
Triple Slash.
It's over. See ya.
Alright, come on, Cloud. In case you guys are wondering, I am playing on Classic Normal. Just to give it a try.
That's
My
that.
chakra has improved. Nice.
Enough.
Finish him. Yeah.
No surprises there.
Alright,
They're nothing.
Compared to us, at least.
alright, Cloud, we waiting for it, buddy.
Deal with that.
Let me handle
Bring it.
Would kill for a
Healing,
shower.
fire material.
I won't lose.
Might be able to level up at least a couple of times. Do some grind more later. Let's see, triple slash.
Just like that, okay?
I gotcha.
I got you, coach. 30 potions. Nice. Yeah, I'm kind of curious, like, what are you gonna do with like carrying over a progression? I heard a wonderful theory. I was watching a video the other day, and I guess somebody on Reddit was saying like, since Cloud and them went into singularity and like they changed themselves, like they're not the same people. That could give Square Enix like the lore perspective of like why everybody's starting over back at level 1, or maybe a low level. It's because they went into singularity like powerful, like Cloud and Tifa and them. Everybody's really strong, really focused and stuff. But when they came out of the singularity, they lost all knowledge. It's kind of like Kingdom Hearts, where Sora's like every game he's in, he's like, I gotta relearn everything. Like, I don't remember how to do all this. It's like same with Goofy and Donald. So it's like, spoilers for Kingdom Hearts, but that's how they done it with them in every game. Like, they always started over. Like, they had to relearn the magic, relearn things. So they could possibly do that with Remake.
Bring it.
I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that could be a possibility. For me, they could go the route of like everybody starts at level 50, where you transfer your file over. So whatever level you're at, that's where you get to start at. But the thing is, they're gonna have to like program the game where the enemies like scale with you, like starting level. And they're gonna have to get everybody to go above like 9,999 HP. If we can go that route, like go from like level 50 to like 100. That's just my opinion about what he can do. I'm gonna turn the game down just a little bit more. It's kind of blaring in my ear. Go at Cloud.
Worked up a
So
good swing.
I don't know how they can do it, but I think they're just gonna make like Kingdom Hearts, just where you have to relearn everything again. I know it don't sound good, it don't sound fun to a lot of people. It's like, why do I have to relearn everything? I just learned this in part 1. It's hard to scale. It's hard to scale games. And I don't think Square wants to like mess around with all that. Like, man, it's like, how are you gonna program this if everybody's at a different level? Unless they bring it, unless they do like the average starting level, like the ending level for part 1. So like, let's say the average level for people finish up the game is level 35. They could possibly do that. They can make every character be at level 35. They might have like Fire or Fyra, you know, stuff like that. But they're gonna have to come up with like new material system, like not a new material system, new material and stuff. So that's what I'm thinking. It's gonna be tough. I think that's one of the hardest things for Square Enix to do, going to like part 2. And then, what are you gonna end part 2 at? Like, how far do they really want to stretch it? Like, how far do they want to make part 2? Like, and more I want to do like smaller increments, but I don't think they want to do that because that's not what people want. They don't want to be working on this game for the next 20 or 30 years.
Let's go.
Alright, ooh. Let's see, level up. Let's use gear up. So that's my opinion on that part. It's really hard, man. I really don't know how they can work that.
This won't take long.
But
Not at all.
for now, I'm really looking forward to part 2. I can't wait to see what they have to show us later on this year.
No surprises there.
A lot of people are worried about Final Fantasy 16. Well, not a lot of people. A lot of people do want to see it, but like, if something happens where Yoshi P comes up, say, hey, we had some information for you in 2022, but we're like having some issues again, then I can't see that game coming out this year. If that's the case, then I can see create a business unit 1 and talk about part 1 this year, like part 2 this year, like earlier than expected.
This won't take long.
I did read a thing. Somebody mentioned that Chronoblade. Is it Chronoblade? Xenoblade. Xenoblade Chronicles. Excuse me. I got Chrono Cross on the mind a little bit. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was supposed to be released like around September, but it got pushed towards a later date. And somebody posted on a thing. I'll go read it for you guys. And it's from Frustrated Jacob, and he says, Final Fantasy 16 is released in September. They found out, and Xenoblade got moved as a result. Mark my words. Interesting that pushing it up an option, though. I guess it's been pretty far along this whole time. They were just going to sit on it until the optimal date. So, and Amiibo Medallion, he said Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was originally slated for September 2022, and now it's coming in July. So it's like, makes you wonder, like, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is like a lot further along people thought, or it's just Final Fantasy 16's coming out this fall. But I don't know. I don't know how reliable this guy is, but it's interesting. So either way, we might not see anything on Part 2 for a while. Not until like late this year, if that's the case. But Square is not afraid to talk about multiple big projects. They've done it before in the past. It depends how they feel about the marketing and stuff. More rats. We got too many rats and there's no valid targets. Darn rat. Come on, rats, hurry up. Tifa! Drop kick. Oh, drop kick. I don't even know why I said drop kick. And I got Dying Light 2 on my mind. I hope Brandon gets back to us shortly because I don't want to make this a 4 or 5 hour stream.
Piece of cake.
So I'm gonna give him another minute or two, then we're gonna move on to the main event. I got some notes I want to read. It's from my good friend Hollis, or Final Fat Nut. He told me to go ahead and read his notes, and we're gonna go through each part of it. But before I do that, I'm gonna finish up this battle. And then I'm gonna get a hold of my friend Matt and see if he can join the chat.
Enough.
After I heal.
You're good at this.
Told you so.
Alright. Sorry for the delay, guys. I'm gonna get a hold of Matt. Alright, guys. I'm gonna pull up the notes here. Hopefully I can read his writing. If not, I apologize. And been waiting for this. Yeah, 9 for sure. I'm waiting for Brandon to get back, but we're gonna start. I've been putting it off for a while, but here we go. I'm gonna read some portions of his notes by my good friend Hollis of Final Fat Nut. Hey Matt. Now hold on. We're about ready to read these awesome notes. Alright, now. Okay, what did he say? Zack may step up as hero if Cloud is broken and Tifa isn't alive to help Cloud. So this is big. Cloud is broken mess, and instead of, and according to this notes, Tifa gets killed off. So Zack comes in as the main hero to help save the day. That, you know what? Anything's possible. That's an interesting idea. That's an interesting idea for sure. Boo! Let Zack die. Yeah. Nine's like most of the people. They want Zack to stay dead, which I understand completely. Zack being alive is the major plot that people say, "Oh no, what are they doing with us? This ain't Final Fantasy VII." No. That's funny. But yeah, Nine, I feel you. I feel you, man. The whole Zack thing, I'm still like wondering what is going on with that. You know, I love this game, but by my heart. Right. That's right. For sure. For sure. Right. Right. Hey Matt, you want to do me a big favor? You want to check the settings for your party chat and make sure your voice is allowed? Because Nine can't hear you. 1 second, Nine. Send the party, then you hit on the 3 dots, and it should say, like, party chat setting. I don't know how it is on app. I never did it through the app. You find it yet? Huh, that's weird. Alright. Alright, sounds good. I'll keep the chat busy. Alright. I'll talk to you in a little bit, buddy. Alright, Nine, what he's saying is, like, Tifa don't really have to die. Like, she can, like, with Cloud being, like, broken mess and, like, stuff like that. Like, Zack was he was, like, the main hero in the game. Like, he saved Cloud's life, right? He fought all those soldiers, and he sacrificed himself to keep Cloud alive. So without Zack playing that hero, Cloud is not who he is today. Cloud wouldn't be here. Cloud would be probably dead and shot if it wasn't for Zack saving today. And so for Zack to come in and play as a hero when the party seems like a mess, the Empire Strikes Back, and like Cloud's a mess. He's gone. Like he's given in to like Sephiroth's dark side. Like temporary. You know, Zack can come in, and since he's on the same timeline, if we're gonna go that route, that he can play as Cloud. He'll have almost the same moveset as Cloud, but maybe a little different. And you can equip him like his stuff, or maybe you can't equip his material and stuff like that. Maybe he's just I guess, party member that you don't get to control. Who knows? Who knows how they're gonna run this? But speaking of which, let's move on to the next segment. Zack may meet Cloud and trigger Cloud's breakdown early. That's another good example. If Zack's on the same timeline, he catches up with Cloud and them. He's like, "Hey, Cloud, remember me?" And like, Cloud is gonna have a mental breakdown. Welcome back, Brandon. You're back.
Thank you.
Matt.
So long I was eating and having fun with family and shit like this. Crap like that.
Yeah, that's fine, man. I was talking about like part 2 about Junon, like how it's gonna be similar to Midgar, where like the bottom level is gonna be like scummy, like the slums. Nobody wants to live there. Like a lady here in Sector 7 slums admitted that she would rather live here than actually in Junon. That's how bad it is over there. It's like, that's wonderful world building. And then I talked about how the level progression can be in part 2. They could possibly go like a Kingdom Hearts thing where like Cloud and them came out of Singularity, changed, right? They changed who they were. Like they can possibly be like Kingdom Hearts where like Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3, Sora, Donald, and Goofy have to relearn everything again because they're new characters. Like it's like they lost all their abilities, which not many people like that idea, but that could possibly be. And then Matt was on chat, but he can't find the setting on his phone through the app. So he's gonna be home in like 20 minutes. He's enjoying chat, but I have started reading the notes, and the first. I don't know how much you heard, but the first segment of this note said Zack may step up as hero if Cloud is broken and Tifa isn't alive to help Cloud. So Zack once again comes in and plays the hero like he did back in Crisis Core and helps save the day. Like he has to pick up where Cloud cannot. Cloud's a broken mess because after what he does, you know, he gives the black material to Sephiroth and he's a broken mess, right? So Zack can come in and say, "Hey guys," and Tifa could be hurt. She could be a broken mess too, not possibly dead. But she can be a broken mess too, where she can't function. She can't think straight. She's like so worried about Cloud that somebody has to step up as leader. Like Barrett could, but then Zack comes in and say, "Hey, hey guys, he can have that nice little pep talk that Zack. You know how Zack is.
I've been gone for over 30 minutes.
Must be.
Jesus." I don't want to be gone that long, but God.
Yeah, he was gone for quite a while.
I am so sorry about that, man.
It's fine. I was able to cover a lot of things. I didn't want to start the notes until we got you here. Matt's going to join shortly. So we can talk about the first 2 asterisks, like give our thoughts on this. So, and then Zack may meet Cloud and trigger Cloud's breakdown early. So what's your thoughts on that? From Hollis.
Let me ask you a question, Justin. Do you think that Sephiroth will find a way to break Zack down as well? Since he might have some Genova cells in him as well.
The answer is no, because Zack he's never got affected by like the Genova cell stuff. Like for some reason Zack's like not affected like Cloud is.
Well, let's think of this. Sephiroth does not only have interaction with Genova cells, he can also have the interaction with Mako energy.
Right.
And if he's able to control that, then he's able to control Zack.
Possibly.
Because
I think
has
Zack.
knockoff who's inside of him.
Yeah, I think Zack's spirit, like his spirit, is so much stronger than Cloud's. Like Cloud's having identity crisis. Like he's still mentality of a 16-year-old, and he's trying to act cool. He's trying to take on a persona as like Zack, like being a soldier and stuff. Like,
Right in here.
well, anyways, it's like Zack's spirit is strong. So like for him to break down, there would have to be something massive.
Yeah, that's much
like
better.
Sephiroth would have to find a way to break Zack down. Like, not just by his little, like, you know, encryptions and just, like, showing up out of the blue. Like, maybe Zack will be shocked, but Zack would be like, so, you know, he would draw his sword and, like, he'd be all cool about it, you know?
Right. If there's one thing that I do wish was possible,
Yeah.
was if they could remake Part 2 M-rated, just to show how truly terrifying Sephiroth could be. But I know it's not gonna happen. It's just a dream of mine.
Right, and we already know why it's a T rating, because they're trying to stay as close to the original as possible on that. And also...
The original had blood.
Well, yeah, because the rating back then is different how the rating is nowadays. They readjusted things over the last 25 years. But they done that to be more closer to the original, but to give more players the opportunity to play it. Because if it's rated M, a lot of parents would be like, you know what, I know you like Final Fantasy VII, and this looks cool and all, but being M-rated, you know, there's some parents out there, yeah, some parents would be like, no fam, you can't play it.
No,
So,
because you're not old enough.
right,
Personally, I'm one of the lucky ones who's able to play M-rated games like 9.
right, yeah. So it's like, for me, like, my parents didn't really care. Like, it was a video game. They kept us busy. They actually did because they bought me video games. But anyway,
I know, I'm kidding.
We're getting off track. Let's focus on Zack. So, what do you think, Brandon, about Zack being on the same timeline, the Terra timeline, as Cloud and Gang? What is your thoughts on that?
I just want to know how it's possible, because, like, did Zack somehow go through the same portal that Sephiroth made through the ending? Like, in that timeline, he's alive, and while Sephiroth went through, the portal, Zack somehow find a way a little bit after the party went through the portal?
No, I think what happened is, Brandon, you want to know what my opinion is on that? Zack didn't have to go through a portal because Cloud and them were fine. Like, they was protected by the changes that it was making, because when they destroyed Whispers, right? They destroyed Whispers from all throughout time, right? Because they showed in Zack's past, like, the big golden explosion of, like, the Whispers dying.
Right.
So anyways, what I want to say about that is, with that happening, like, throughout time, it changed something, right? It changed something big, because Big's alive. Zack is alive. There needs to be, okay, 9 says, if Zack's alive, there needs to be, I gotta pull up the chat, hang on a second, that went too fast. There has to be a very good explanation and reason. I can't even begin to imagine what that reason would be. And 9, that's probably a lot of our answers, a lot of our questions. We all have the same question. Right now we're trying to theorize why that is. And that's what's making part 2 so freaking anticipating. It's like, what are you up to? Because the Yuffie DLC ending didn't give us answers. It gave us more freaking questions.
Yeah.
It's like, Zack is in Sector 5 church. Aerith is not around, and people are crying, and those flowers look like they're wilted. It's like, what? It's like, what does this mean? What does this mean? The way Zack says, Aerith? It's like, he's like, Aerith, are you here? It's like, Aerith, where are you? Or he could be saying, Aerith, is that you? Because the last shot before he says Aerith, there's 2 boots You know, somebody in boots standing in the flower bed looking kind of right at him. And he's like, and it shows his eyes like in shock. He's like, Aerith? Could that be Aerith in a different alternate timeline? But I don't think that is. I made that theory a while ago. It blew up like crazy. Not crazy,
The only
crazy,
reason
but...
I guessed was because he didn't see Aerith there, and Aerith in the original timeline already left to go to be with Cloud and Co. You know?
Yeah.
If I had to take a guess on why Zack is alive, I'm guessing he has to do something with Sephiroth. Like he's using that to screw up with Cloud's head.
So how about this? Nine had a good idea. He goes, is it possible Zack's in purgatory, the in-between of living and dead? It's possible.
Like
People talked about it. He's, for us, for the game, purgatory is what? Live stream, right? He's stuck in a live stream. He doesn't know he's dead. So he's going through, like, this dream, like, in between, like, being dead and alive. He's going back to the church. Where's Aerith? It's like, that could be a possibility, too. Nine, thank you for bringing that up. That's a good question. Because if not, I think what's going on is, and I mentioned it before, but I'm gonna mention it again. I think because of the Whisperers being dead throughout all history, okay, the past, you know, before Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII Remake, etc., all throughout time, Whisperers are dead enough to keep everything on the right timeline, right? And Sephiroth is like, Cloud, join me. Let's divide destiny together because our beloved planet's dying. Because Sephiroth knows the Whispers can't stop him now. He wants Cloud's strength the Roy to take over. And I think what happened is, with a big explosion with the Whispers being dead, and we all saw the Whispers around the soldiers, right? And Zack don't see him. He's like, oh, you know, the price of freedom is steep. He brings his sword out on that. He's like, you know, protect your honor as a soldier. He like runs at him. The Whispers are supposed to make sure that Zack kills a lot of them, but Zack dies. But with Cloud and them defeating the Whispers and changing fate, changing the timeline, that's why I think the Beagle timeline we all know and love, the original timeline is the Beagle one, it's gone. So when Cloud and them step out of the portal or whatever, I don't know, they didn't show that part. They kept that hidden. Like, we went from the cryptic messages, like 7 seconds to the end, and all this ending thing, and all of a sudden you see Cloud and them outside Midgard. It's like, what? It's like, how'd he get here? Did he climb out of the portal? It's like, what's going on? I think when they get out of the singularity, they don't know what's going on other than they changed themselves. They changed the timeline. They defeated fate, which means anything can happen now. But I think what the party doesn't understand is we as players I think with Zack being alive, Biggs being alive, Wedge through the modding of the PC community found out, Wedge only fell out of the window about a 20-foot drop. He could be alive. Jesse's bandana and that could be alive. I mean, that means she could be alive, but the devs are like, well, then that'll be a different story now, wouldn't it? So, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. We're not telling you anything. So I think what's going on is, we defeated the original timeline. Everything's changed, and we got the Terrier timeline Beagle that went past us, and all of a sudden Zack's like, is that all of them? I defeated every single one of these soldiers? Like, what? It's like, he's shocked. I think, maybe Zack knew he's supposed to die right there. Who knows?
If I may say something, Justin?
Sure.
This is gonna be another critique of mine. I know this ain't exactly Zack related, but excuse me. I personally feel like that the whole let us defy destiny together, like him asking for Cloud to join him, was kind of dumb. And I'm fixing to explain my reasoning.
That's fine. No judgment zone here.
Because you see Sephiroth as like this all-powerful being and godlike figure. Like,
yeah.
he, like, even the creators, not only the creators of the man himself, like Shinra, but also developers himself, don't exactly know what he is, and that makes him terrifying, correct?
Right.
Because we can guess anything of what he is, from a man, just a simple man out for revenge, to a virus, parasite, a demon, an angel, like a fallen angel,
Yeah.
or like an alien, anything. We don't know what he is. Like, take Vincent saying Cloud asking having children, Kadaj, what is he? And
Yeah.
Cloud doesn't know, despite the two having a connection to Genova. You'd think he'd know, but he doesn't. And even
Right.
Vincent is like, I'd rather not know. Yeah.
Right.
So, I think personally, Sephiroth, like the main baddie, asking Cloud for help, was kind of weak in my opinion, because how I viewed it personally was like him trying to have Cloud join him only to mess with the entire party, since he can't, because
Right.
they don't have Genova cells just like he and Cloud does.
That's interesting. Well, it's just, I just think that Sephiroth likes to toy with Cloud, and if you read the Ultimania, like done a lot of research on that, that's a different Sephiroth. The Sephiroth that's talking to Cloud and asking him for help, that's actually before. Was that before Final Fantasy VII Sephiroth? Like he's more human when he's talking to Cloud at the edge of creation. Like Sephiroth shows like a little bit of emotion, like a human response. Like he's like feels sad that Cloud wouldn't join him. That's not Sephiroth we know. That's the Sephiroth before he broke.
Well, there was also Sephiroth where he showed a little bit of emotion after being defeated, and that's still the Sephiroth that, like, is evil, so we don't really know, because if you notice, after you defeated him, he kind of, like, clutches onto his chest where his heart is.
Yeah.
He also has a very distraught, sad expression on his face.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what that possibly could be, but to me, it's just like Sephiroth trying to manipulate it, because we all know, the developers themselves said Sephiroth is the fastest, strongest, smartest, and like the best being ever in all of Final Fantasy VII world. He cannot be beat. The only reason he's even being beaten is because he underestimates Cloud, because he views him as basically scum,
Right.
or like
Right.
a bug that you
Like
squashed on
the
your
problem with Sephiroth, before we get back to Zack, is Sephiroth is like he toys around with his opponent too much, and that's his downfall. Yeah, with food, and that's his downfall. Like then Cloud takes advantage of it. Like Cloud has a lot to live for, and Sephiroth like it's like what he says. What is it? It's like what is it you cherish the most? So I can take it away from you. And Cloud's like, what I cherish the most? There's nothing I don't cherish, and that's when he like gets all that power, because Cloud has a lot to live for, and Sephiroth is just toying with him. Like that's his downfall. So like for him doing that, wanting Cloud's help, it's because he knows that Destiny can be rewritten now. Cloud can like join him now. There's no whispers gonna stop. But Cloud was able to say, "No, I'm not joining you," because that's how Cloud is. He ain't gonna join the bad guy. So like now, because of Sephiroth's influence, we got Zack alive now. Zack is alive. Diggs is alive. Wedge is now is alive because of thanks to PC modding to find out that he actually just fell through the 64th foot window, but it's like a 20-foot drop because there's actually a ledge underneath him that he can land on. So it's like, oops. So like because of Sephiroth getting involved early, he's causing all this issue, and now since the whispers are gone, anything can happen. Like Tifa can die, and like if Barrett ever gets stabbed again, nobody can bring him back. Barrett can die again.
The whispers are gone.
Yeah.
Except permanently this time. Also, I think like literally, this may be an unpopular opinion, but personally, because like, I think when developers know how much Sephiroth can be made fun of for, because of like, oh, Kefka wins, like Arden wins and stuff like that. I saw like one of the people on the development teams, not main people like Katase, Nomura, or any of those guys, like one of the guys that worked for them, and it makes me possibly think that Sephiroth could possibly win because they don't want any of the villains, especially the main villain, the base of all the villains in Final Fantasy history, to be made fun of like that.
Yeah, it could happen. Who knows? Anything can happen now. Do you guys think it's important that they can tell a coherent story without the knowledge of the compilation? Well, someone who has never played a compilation and only remake games can understand. If they can include some backstory like in part 2, for example. Everybody, let's say you're a new player and you're just learning about these characters. You say, man, these characters cool. No wonder why people love these characters so much. I'm falling in love with them. But like, there's questions, right? Who in the heck is Sephiroth? Why is he tormenting Cloud? What is the connection between him and Cloud? Like, part 2, it's gonna go in detail that with the flashback. If we saw part 2 in the flashback as a tutorial mission, where they teach you a few things, but you get to understand like how Sephiroth was back then. They go, wait a minute, so Cloud and Sephiroth were war buddies? It's like they actually went to Cloud's hometown? It's like interesting. And like if the developers can like explain and showcase like Sephiroth and why he went nuts and like why Cloud and him have a connection, like if they can start off part 2 with that, a lot of new players would be like, so that's how it happened. That's how Cloud knows Sephiroth. That's how Tifa and Cloud, like, they're talking about what happened 5 years ago. So that's what happened. Yeah, that's why they want to stop Sephiroth, because of how he is. So if they can do that and go on the backstory, like, why does Barrett hate Shinra so much? So when we get to the place about dying, and like the backstory of like Barrett and his hometown and why he hates Shinra.
Wouldn't you kind of expect Yuffie to hate Sephiroth too? I mean, the whole Wutai War and everything.
If Yuffie knows the history of the Wutai War, which she does, you can clearly tell in intermission. Like, they nearly destroyed our home. I'm pretty sure she knows about Sephiroth, because he is one of the main baddie of Shinra. Like, he's a super soldier. He wiped out Wutai. He was part of the Wutai War with like Angia was there, Zack was there. Zack found.
Genesis was there.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure she knows Sephiroth, and like he knows that maybe.
She probably knows mainly Sephiroth, because like he's the poster boy and everything.
Yeah, so like I can see her having the hatred for Sephiroth, but like not as much as like Cloud and but she hates Shinra more than anything else. Like in intermission, she's like, "Oh, Shinra is like, oh, I can't wait to stop them. They just about ended our party and our city, and she was angry with them." But I'm pretty sure she knows about Sephiroth. If you knew of Shinra and Soldier, you had to know of Sephiroth. Bingo. Exactly 9. Exactly my point. And for them, and for me,
sorry, go ahead.
And for me to get back on track before we lose focus here, as 9 was saying, like for somebody new to be like, if they can tell a coherent story, they would have to nail the backstories, like the need behind flashback. When Barrett tells his backflash of like his story about what happened in the past, why he hates Shinra, like it goes deeper in that. Like, who is Marlene's dad? Because it's gonna come up a question that it's like, Barrett, I know you say Marlene's your daughter, but we're kind of curious, like, who's her mother, and like maybe Barrett has to explain himself. It's like, well, Dine was her actual dad, but
biological dad.
Yeah, biological dad. I had adopted her, and so like he can tell the backstory, like why he hates Shinra and that. Like if they can nail that story to where a new player can say, so that's why Barrett lost his arm. That's why he's got a gun grafted in. That's why he hates Shinra so much. Like, he believed the lies that they spread even back in Mount Coral, his, the North Coral City, like, his hometown village. It's like, they trusted Shinra, they backstabbed him. Like, if you can tell that story, like, even because in the Traces of Two Past, in the book, that's going to be coming out later this year in the English version, which I may pick that up.
I want to pick up all the books.
Tifa and Aerith are actually talking about their backstory of how Aerith and her mother were like inside a facility and how her life was growing up. And Tifa is going to tell her backstory. She's telling Aerith like what happened after Nibelheim, because they already heard the flashback. This happened on the cargo ship heading to Coastal del Sol in part 2. So this book is actually taking things from in part 2, and I hope they actually have a flashback, a backstory of like how what Tifa had to go through. Maybe just like a snippet, like just get everybody an idea like what happened. I should do a discussion stream about the book and go on what happens. I could. You have to give me a while to read the books and write down some notes probably. But right. I do know some things because I listen to Baby Seal and Sleep Easy talk about it. But there's some more information in there. Like Tifa went through some crap. After she's been stabbed, like sliced by Sephiroth, she's severely wounded. She somehow made her way to Midgar, and it's an incredible story of like her back, like what happened to her for 5 years. It's like she had to learn to like pick herself up, and like she ended up running the bar, and she met up with Avalanche. Just to give you guys a little snippet of what I remember. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy good. I just hope that in part 2 and beyond, they have to have backstories to help flesh out these characters even more and give the new players better understanding about why is Cloud like he is, why is Tifa like she is, what happened to Aerith in the backstory, like why is Barrett so angry at Shinra even though he talked about how Mako was like everybody believing that Mako bullshit, you know. I'm quoting Barrett here, so forgive me about this. But I like
don't demonetize him.
But anyways, it's just we see a little snippet of that, and like Red 13, like we don't know much about him. Well, of course we do, as we play the original. But new players is like, man, a talking dog, lab rat dog is like, what? This is freaking weird. Who's this guy? Mm-hmm. He's cool. And like, I can't wait to go to Cosmo Canyon to see what Red 13's backstory was. Seth told his dad and Bugenhagen. Like, just seeing his planetary, like, laboratory system thing he's gonna have. Like, his backstory, what he understands. Square Enix is at a point right now, they got the new players hooked. They got, like, Angry Joe review. Like, he's new to Final Fantasy. Like, he played Final Fantasy 13 and that. He's like, whatever. This is not my thing. But Remake, he is in love with it. He can't wait to see what part 2 is about. But he doesn't know much. So for him to understand the story, they gotta have backstory for these characters in part 2 and beyond. So, like, even Zack, like, who in the heck is Zack? Like, they're gonna have to have a backstory with him. In this sense, he's alive. Because what's going on is, I seen one streamer who doesn't know anything about Final Fantasy VII, and I literally watched the reaction of Zack, and it's like, who is this guy? Who's this handsome guy? Wait, is he Cloud and Tifa's son? Is this the future? It's like, oh my goodness, they don't know. Like, they're so in the dark about things. I just hope Square Enix can clear things up. Like, Aerith, you know, like, if you don't have subtitles on, you don't even know that's Zack. Because Aerith says Zack's name, but it's, Cloud has a headache. So, like, if you don't have subtitles on, a new player don't even know who the hell that is. Yeah, right? And he's like, they have no idea what Zack's appearance means. The question is, how do they? Right? That's the thing. And we haven't even looked at his notes yet. We're still talking about this could be a long stream. So I hope you guys bear with me.
I'm prepared for it.
And Matt hasn't showed up yet.
You have to deal with Justin's slowness.
Hey.
Go ahead, Justin. I'm sorry.
Okay, let's continue. I got more notes to read. All right, hang on. Let's pull up the notes. Okay. Not Zack, but cool. He got this in parentheses. So in the ending, Sector 7 plate is visible in tag. Check PS5 version. There's a lot of debates going around, and I'm on the fence. I'm on the side of Zack is in the Terror timeline. However, the plate does still fall. Okay. The plate still fall because that's either ways. You know, Biggs got injuries, right? He still got injuries, so he survived. That's what changed. The plate still fell. And when it shows Zack just about ready to push in, like just before that, it shows a clear sky, like just in the corner. And I know Sector 5, Sector 6 is right here, but just over here is Sector 7 plate's missing. I'm on the side of the Sector 7 plate's gone, but he's on the new timeline along with Cloud. That's why Eris is not there. But other people, like this note says, is the plate is still intact. That means Zack is still possibly he's there before the Sector 7 plate fell, or he's on a different timeline where the plate never fell. That now you're getting to the point where Zack's not on the same timeline. This is the complete opposite. There's two timelines. Zack's on Terror timeline, and the party's still on Beagle. Now here you go. Yuffie might meet Zack, and then the gang. Maybe we'll see a cutscene where Yuffie ends up meeting up with Zack early, and Zack remembers Yuffie because he does. He runs into her in what? Wutai. In Crisis Core. And she's just this little girl, and Zack runs into her, and Zack starts to understanding, like, Wutai is not all that bad, so he starts questioning things, you know that? He's like, wait a minute, it's like, why are we fighting these guys? It's like, he even runs in some, Wutaian soldiers, warriors, he's like, he hangs out, like, I don't know if he hangs out with them, but he talks with them a little bit, and gets a better understanding of what their deal is. But he doesn't just draw his blade and he starts slicing them all down, like, you're evil. Shinja says you're evil, right? Zack has a conscience. Zack has a heart. He's not cold-blooded.
He actually knows that Shinra's evil this time.
Right. And Zack's
he's
like...
not cold-hearted like Sephiroth is.
And he's, like, understanding that, wait a minute, he starts questioning Shinja. It's like, are we doing the right thing here? Because this don't feel right. This don't feel right. So, Zack meeting Yuffie, that's going to be interesting. I'm glad I read this note. This note, we're only on the first page, so buckle down, buckle up, guys, get ready. Okay, the next line, Zack hears about the... about the man with the same sword is treated strangely as a result of looking like Cloud. So, Zack hears a rumor, a murmur, you know, just a whisper that there's a guy out there that kind of resembles Zack, but he has the Buster Sword just like Zack does, and Zack's like, can you imagine Zack's reaction? It'd be like, wait a minute.
Wait, you said resemble Zack a little bit? You mean like an appearance or just the outfit and sword?
The outfit and sword, like...
Okay.
Yeah, like, people recognize his outfit and, like, the sword, and go, wait a minute. We saw a blonde-haired guy that has almost the same outfit, a little different, but he has the sword. It's like, and Zack hears about it, it's like, what? Like, wait a minute, what's going on here? It's like, who's got my Buster Sword? Like, I got it right here. Like, imagine how that's gonna. Oh man, now we're getting some funky story. This is like the juicy part of this whole thing. Oh man. Zack pursues Cloud and Aerith, being a step or two behind, similar to the main party pursuing Sephiroth. Interesting. That's another theory that people are saying. Like, see, Zack is still in Midgar, right? He's looking for Aerith, but Aerith and party's they're already going on to move on and looking for Sephiroth. So Zack's a few steps behind her too. That's an interesting idea. What do you think, Brandon?
It sounds like a good theory. I personally think that, while yes, he may be a little bit behind, but I also think that he's not only chasing after them, I think he also wants to figure out what happened to Sephiroth, because he probably knows that he ain't actually dead, or like, he thinks he's dead, but like, then he realizes, wait, if Sephiroth is dead, what other party chasing after?
Right.
Mm-hmm. But then he comes to realize that because he's probably gonna spy on the party, like he doesn't want to reveal himself just yet. He figures out that Sephiroth is actually alive.
Right, and like
that makes him for some juicy drama.
Like Zack finding out that Sephiroth is alive, and like, what is his reaction? You know, because the newspapers say
probably
that,
fear.
Like, just like, he'll say, well, shouldn't you post a paper saying that Sephiroth died in some kind of incident, like a mission? He's on a mission and he died. It's like, wait a minute, it's like Sephiroth is alive, and there's a guy running around with my Buster Sword, and he looks kind of, looks similar to what I'm dressed as. It's like, huh, that's an interesting story if they really want to go down that deep, that rabbit hole.
Right.
What else here? We'll get through the first page here, and then we'll move on. Matt just texts. He says he's still going. I say, yeah. The scene of Zack realizing what's happened to Cloud. Zack and his Cloud become mercs, and locals are taken back by both Cloud acting totally different and Zack using Buster Sword. That's an interesting idea as well. What do you think of that? Like, Zack and his, like, that version of Cloud becoming mercs, and the townspeople's like, is that Cloud? Because he's definitely acts different. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I don't think that's gonna happen personally.
Yeah. Hey Matt, welcome to the stream.
Hey Matt.
What's going on, buddies?
We are still on the first page.
Wow.
Yeah, like there's a lot of juicy ideas here. You did check your
Yeah, my voice is shared.
Okay, awesome.
We don't want to seem like crazy people like we did last time with Popstar.
I don't know. Have you been listening to our stream?
No, I had some other things going on.
Okay. We talked about
juicy tidbits.
Yeah, we'll do a summary, and then we'll let you talk. I'll read the whole page. This is just the first page, and then you can give your thoughts. Okay, Zack may step up as hero if Cloud is broken and Tifa isn't alive to help Cloud. Zack may meet Cloud and trigger Cloud's breakdown early. In the ending, Sector 7 plate is visible intact. Check the PS5 version. That's like when you see Zack and people think the plate's there or the plate's not there before he comes in, he walks into church. Yuffie might meet Zack and then the gang later on. So Zack and Yuffie meets up first and have their little reunion thing, and then she meets up with the party later. Zack hears about a merc with that same sword is treated strangely as a result of looking like Cloud, like in the slums and stuff. Zack pursues Cloud and Aerith, being a step or two behind, similar to the main party pursuing Sephiroth. The scene of Zack realizing what happened to Cloud, like Zack's realizing, wait, what happened to Cloud? Zack and his Cloud become mercs, and locals are taken aback by both Cloud acting totally different and Zack using the Buster Sword. So Matt, what are your thoughts on all that?
Alright, so start off at point number 1. As I was saying when nobody could hear me.
Right.
Zack stepping up. Like I said, he kind of started as the full main protagonist of the story to begin with.
Right.
In Crisis Core. Which I'm assuming anybody who's listened has played Crisis Core.
Right.
That giving him his day in court, or his day to shine, I think would be an amazing thing to happen. Now, as I said earlier, I don't think Tifa would probably necessarily be dead. I think that would be a bit of a stretch, but I like where that idea is.
Right.
But playing OG, you know, there's a large chunk. Now, storyline-wise, it probably wasn't that big of a chunk.
Right.
But being a completionist that I am, there was a huge chunk of gameplay where Tifa and Cloud were out of it because she chased Cloud into the live stream and she stayed, you know, in the village to look after Cloud, and she left the party. So that point in the story, if Zack is in the same timeline, I think is absolutely phenomenal. Like, that would be a beautiful point to where Zack could actually step up. And at the same time, Zack would finally have his chance to truly help Cloud as well. Because that's a big thing. Zack really wanted to help Cloud. You know, escaping the Shinra Manor, you know, being injected with, you know, Sephiroth cells, Genova cells, all of that.
Yes.
I mean, that was a big thing that he really wanted to do, was to help Cloud. You know, he felt a really strong connection there. So if Zack is in their timeline, that would be a beautiful spot for him to pick up and actually come in and either join them by helping to pull Cloud out, or just stepping up as a party leader in general. Second point, which was what, the plate missing but not missing?
Before that, it was Zack meet Cloud, and it will trigger Cloud's mental breakdown, seeing Zack in physical, you know, right there in person.
Yeah, so that's one thing that I had a thought process on. I mean, you had talked about this, obviously not in stream, but you know, in chat before, is that I really feel that's going to happen in part 2. I don't think that it's going to take all of that, because even in part 1, how many different occasions were there when they almost spilled the beans? You know, and the Whispers had to basically step in, you know, quite often.
Oh no, that's not happening. And like,
so, you know, especially like right there with Hojo, that got me on the edge of my seat when I got there. Because I was so excited to see. I'm like, yes, this is what I want. This is exactly what I want. I want to see this trigger prior to 2/3 of the way through the game. You know? I want to know what happens. And it
almost did too. Like, Cloud had a headache. He
multiple times.
He almost broke down. Like, Cloud almost melted right there in the laboratories.
Exactly. And like, I would love for that to happen earlier. So Zack meeting Cloud and triggering that would be amazing. I would love that. I have a strong feeling that that's going to happen early at some point anyway.
Oh man.
So that being a trigger would be really cool. But here's the only thought process though. Would Zack honestly trigger that though? Because Cloud really didn't have anything to go on with the Zack or reunion or anything like that. So my only thought process is, would he really trigger Cloud breaking down? Now, him seeing Zack and saying, oh, I'm the personification of Zack. You know, I'm not really me now, who am I? I could see something like that. I'm not sure if it would actually trigger it, but that would be really cool. Because that would be its own breakdown in and of itself.
Right.
Bless you. So, like, I really like that idea. Not sure how it would work, but I love the idea.
All right. And third
That's
point
not so much of a bad
is
idea, to be honest.
yeah, and then the third point is Zack. Like the are you on the fence of like is the Sector 7 plate missing in that scene before he bursts into the church, or you think the Sector 7 plate is still intact?
So, what are your thoughts?
My thought is when I first saw that and I watched somebody point it out, and I know people say our Sector 6 plate is missing because part of it is missing. It came down and crashed, right? Killed a lot of people. That's why Eris goes, I do not like this section of town because it reminds her of what happened.
Okay.
And I'm like, yeah, but that seems a little further away. I think that might be a Sector 7 plate gone. That could be to survive the fugitives who are like in tears. Like, what's this place that people go to or they want to mourn? They go to church, right? Or some places like the sanctuary.
Mm-hmm. You know, one thing that I had a thought process because to me it looks like the plate is missing. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I get where people come from to say it's not, obviously different timeline aspect, but look at what happened when the plate fell. Okay.
Yeah.
Where did all the survivors go?
They went to Sector 6, right? The park.
Right. So they went to that, and they Wall Market and all of that. So the church is in what, Sector 5?
Yes.
Okay. So it would stand to reason that people aren't just going to stay where Wall Market is.
Right.
Wall Market is probably not the place that's going to take in refugees.
Right.
So, because that's the one entertainment area of the slums.
Right.
That's what they have. But Sector 5 is already built up with orphanages.
Right.
Different areas to take in people. The actual only church that's around. And if you take it as the same timeline, if Zack is alive and Zack makes it to the church, it would stand to reason that people are there, they're mourning, they're crying because of what has happened.
Right.
They're still going to be that way, even if it was a week later. Even if Cloud and the party has already left, and they're on their way to Calm, and then Zack makes it in there, people are still going to be at the church.
Right. Yeah.
They're still going to be crying, they're still going to be mourning, which, to me, that's what made more sense, is that I think it was same timeline. I think Zack is alive.
Right,
and that, he made it to the church. He knows Aerith loves the church, goes to the church. When he walks in, not necessarily saying that he saw Aerith.
Right.
But that's probably the one person he's calling out for or asking about. Like, Aerith, what's going on? But she's not there.
Right.
Necessarily. So, to me, that's how I felt. I mean, obviously it can go any which way. Yeah,
because it kind of makes sense because, to be honest, it's like, Cloud and them, they escaped Sector 7, it's at night. And then they sleep. They go back during the same night. Then they go sleep, and it's early morning. Cloud wakes up and has his little, out of the 3 scenes. Then they finish up sleeping. It's the next day. So it's next morning they make their way to the Sector 7, the Shinra HQ, and it's finally nighttime, and then they finally escape Midgar when it's daylight again. So it's what, like
it's only been
2
a couple
days?
of days.
Yeah, a couple of days. So
3 max,
Yeah.
So I mean, it would stand to reason that if he approached and everything has gone on, I mean, that's where he would go. Obviously. Especially if he's just getting into Midgar and he sees some crazy stuff has obviously gone down.
Yeah.
There's going to be, one, it's going to be on the news. All of that's still going to be talked about. The one person he would want to make sure is safe is Aerith. So, of course, he would go to the church.
And then 9 says, but when Zack noticed the aftermath of the plate falling, in that scene, he looks like he He is a none the wiser to this massive plate no longer floating above. That's a good, interesting idea as well.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that point, but that would really strengthen the resolve of him immediately going to the church.
Right.
If something crazy has happened, there's one person that he absolutely loves.
And that's Aerith.
That's Aerith.
And he knows that
Absolutely.
Aerith loves to go to church because she likes to tend to flowers like every single day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I see where Nine's coming from. Like if the master plate's
absolutely.
missing, like he'd say, wait a minute, then I should probably go help these people. But then he calmly approaches the church. Yeah, that too.
Calmly approaching, I mean, you can see the church is still intact.
Yeah, yeah.
So that would probably relieve him at some point.
Right.
That, okay, you know, this didn't happen here. This was 2 sectors away. Obviously, everything's going to be fine. He enters the church thinking he's going to see Aerith, but there's all of these survivors
Right.
instead.
And
you know?
and Zack's not really calm. He's a nervous jitterbug.
Of course, yeah. Well, of course he is. You know, he hasn't seen her. Crazy stuff has gone down. He
Right.
sees that the church, you know, he's relieved to see that the church is there. He's expecting just to find Aerith inside. He probably hears noise, thinking it's her.
Right.
And so he's like, okay, well, what do I tell her after all this time? I mean, God, it's been how many years? What is it? A year between the last time he sees Aerith in Crisis Core to when that happens? They were in Shinra Mansion how long?
It's been a few weeks.
It's been a few weeks at least. Well, I mean, they were in Shinra Mansion for how long, though?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. It's only
I mean,
like
Hojo experimented on them countless times, probably.
yeah, that's true. So it's been a long time since we've seen Aerith last.
Yeah, that's what I'm
about
saying.
like
So I
7
mean,
years.
he would have that nervous jitter, you know, especially if he sees relieved that there's the church there. So, I mean, I get both sides. I see both sides of it, you know.
Right.
My personal feelings is I hope he's in the same timeline. I
Okay,
really
and
do.
Nine's gonna rewatch the ending again of that. You know that ending. Watch it a million times because my goodness, it's so freaking good.
Oh, it is.
Oh,
It is.
that's so
Absolutely wonderfully done.
Nine, feel free to rewatch it, and yeah, it's just it's a lot to take in. Like you can go both ways with it. Like
It really can.
you know, plate
It really
being
can.
there, plate being gone. Like that could be just like people just in mourning of like who
Yeah.
knows. Like
I mean,
they
one of the only things that would stand out to me as far as opposing to what my thought process is
Yeah.
the stamp bag.
right.
You know, different dog.
And just like it's
You
just
know,
like
different
how
timeline.
it's just like the freaking developers like they ask them a question. It's like so we see that Zack's like, is that all of them? Like, did Zack win this time? Did Zack survive? And the only thing the developers have to say is like, did you notice the stamp bag? Did you notice the stamp
Yeah.
bag going by? It's like hint, hint, nudge, nudge. You know?
Yeah, which I mean,
But oh man.
I mean, it could be, you know, it could have its own multiverse theory.
Right.
You know, one of the things that I look at is, you know, what are they coming out with this year for the phones?
Right.
You know, Ever Crisis, right?
Yeah.
And what do they call it? They call it a Final Fantasy VII story, or like one.
It's
one-
like
they,
what do they call it?
allude
It's,
to it being its own
yeah, it's like it's
timeline.
It's not another remake. Like it says a not. Like they had NOT like all capitalized and another. It's like
yeah.
that's all there to fool us, guys. It's all there to say, hey, look, we said not in all capitalized. But it's like, come on, Square Enix, what are you doing?
I mean, they're leaving the breadcrumbs. They're putting it out there for us.
Right.
You know, they really are.
Like they could have chose a different theme for Zack entering the church, but they chose Aerith's theme. The one theme that really gets people's hearts melting. It's like, oh, that music.
Oh, absolutely.
They done it on purpose. They done it on purpose.
Yeah.
Okay, the next point is Yuffie might meet Zack, then the gang later.
Okay, so Yuffie's trip to Midgar, she meets up with Zack along the way.
Right.
I mean, I guess that could happen.
Yeah, we
never
seen it because the only thing
I don't really know of any impact it would have.
Right, other than Zack's like, wait a minute, I recognize you. You're from the Wu Tai War, the little Wu Tai girl that I ran into. It's like, what are you doing here? You know. Alright, next point. Zack hears about the merc with the same sword and is treated strangely as a result of looking like Cloud. They're gonna say, wait a minute, this guy looks similar to like the merc we had in town the other day.
But he acts different and his hair color is different and everything.
Right, so it's like,
Yeah. I mean, I think that there would be people who would recognize Zack for Zack, though.
Right? He's been to Midgar before, and those people lived there all their lives. So.
Yeah, I mean, he's been around all of those areas.
Right.
You know, he took plenty of jobs around and met people, and I mean, this is based on Crisis Core, obviously, but
right.
I mean, he was there, so I'm not. I mean, I guess if he met some of the same few people, like what's her name? Tifa's landlord. What is her name?
Marl.
Marl, yeah, the old lady. So, I mean, like, meeting up with somebody like Marl, yeah, I could see where she would be like, you're awfully familiar.
Never in doubt.
Right? And she's been there for how long? Like, at least 5 years. She knew Tifa for 5 years.
Yeah, so, I mean...
So...
Here... You know, what kind of, I guess, throws me a loop with that is that, other than Aerith, nobody gave Cloud a second look.
They're nothing.
One
Right.
of the things
Compared
that
to
drew
us, at
Aerith
least.
to Cloud was the striking resemblance, the Buster Sword, everything of that effect.
Right.
Because that was Zack. Now, throughout Crisis Core, Zack is not using the Buster Sword. That's
Right.
Angeal's weapon, you know?
Yeah. What was Angeal saying? Use brings about wear, tear, and rust. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, so I mean, Angeal really didn't use the blade except until the end of Angeal's timeline, essentially, because he didn't want to scratch it.
Right.
You know, it was more of an
It was
icon.
made by his
Because,
father.
yeah, Buster Sword was
Yeah.
made by Angeal's father, so...
Right.
Anyways, 9 is back. He says, I'm back. In the scene,
Oh,
it feels very evident he is nervous about seeing Aerith again. He opens the door smiling, saying, hi, I'm back. He can't be aware based on his actions. I think it's purgatory. In Advent Children, we see Aerith and Zack at the church. Maybe he waits for her.
Right.
That could be a possibility.
That could, showing Zack's afterlife, essentially,
Yeah.
would be a pretty interesting concept.
Yeah. And you know what, 9? It could be. It could be just Square saying, hey, you guys don't really know anything about the live stream? This is what happens inside the live stream. Like, Zack really doesn't know he's dead, but he's in purgatory. It's like, wait a minute, where's Aerith? To be fair, I'm not caught up on all the current theories. Yeah, there's a lot of theories out there, 9. You could spend weeks just listening to everybody's theories out there. You'd be going, whoa, like, what the heck's going
big
on?
time.
Like,
Absolutely.
okay, to move on.
So, yeah.
Okay, so Zack pursues Cloud and Earth, being a step or two behind them, similar to how, you know how Cloud and the party is going to be a step or two behind Sephiroth. So what
Oh,
do you think about
absolutely.
that?
So, I mean, that would be a very cool concept.
Yeah.
Which would play into the first point of, Zack stepping up because he finally catches up to them as they finally caught up to Sephiroth at the Ancient City.
And them being on the same timeline, the Terror timeline.
Right. So that would be a really cool point. Like the one thing that I am most excited. I know everybody's excited to see Calm and all of that. There's only one scene that I want to see in Remake 2.
What's that?
That is
You're dead.
seeing the Midgar Zolom impaled upon a stick.
Oh man.
I cannot
They're gonna.
wait.
They're gonna.
And just to reach that area,
My turn.
I cannot wait. That is the one thing I just want to see. So
Yeah, me
even
too.
if seeing that, even if Zack is a few days behind them,
That's that.
and then his reaction to that, like, that would be epic.
Right.
I could
Let's have a
relive that
good
moment
swing.
forever.
Imagine actually getting to see Sephiroth impale that serpent.
That's what I want to see. I want to see that fight. Make that a cutscene, please.
Oh man.
You know,
that'd be,
like
that'd be so
Squaresoft, if you're
sick.
watching, please tell me that's in there. That's what I want to see.
Like, we know he's the most powerful being in the world, so he all of a sudden just jumps on the snake and impales them, no problem.
See, I disagree with you. I don't think Sephiroth is the most powerful being in that world. Not one
Really?
bit.
It's
Not at all. Aerith.
Hmm.
I find Aerith way more powerful.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Aerith scares the hell out
Won't be
of
tough.
Genova,
Course not.
pardon my French, and Sephiroth.
Too easy.
That's the
Right.
reason they want her dead. So bad. They are the Cetra were the one thing that could have stopped, which is why Genova, they obliterated them. Fast as they could.
That's a win.
I only say that because that's what the developers said.
And Nine agrees
Well-
with you that Aerith being the most powerful. Of course.
Oh, absolutely.
She is like the queen. She can go anywhere on the chessboard. And Sephiroth's the king. Like, he only has one move to make. And that's like, I
Yeah.
gotta destroy Destiny. That way I have more control over what's going on. Because Aerith is the most powerful piece on the board right now.
Well, one of the things that I've always thought of, and especially
Yeah.
since playing Remake, in Aerith, there are multiple times in the game in Remake, Aerith seems like she already knows what's going on, right?
Right.
So if you're as old as I am, you would remember something called Highlander back in like the 80s and the 90s. Okay?
Yeah.
And in the Highlander movies and the series, the whole point was there could only be one.
That makes
So
sense.
every time that one died, their knowledge, their ability, their strength came to the one who killed them. So if you think of the Cetra as what are they called? Not the Guardians of the Planet.
The ancients.
Yeah, so the Ancients and the Cetra. I mean, they were the
They were
inhabitants.
inhabitants. They was taking care of the planet. Like they was.
Yeah, but they took care of it, right?
Yeah.
So, if Aerith is in connection with the life force of the planet, she can talk to it, she can communicate, she can commune with it,
Right.
she can pray, summon holy, all of these different things. She has the power of the planet and all of the Cetra.
Well, I was thinking more of a one-on-one, the most powerful being, not like magical or anything like that.
Well, I mean, think about it. What is Sephiroth? He's nothing but a magical being at this point. His
Right.
flesh and blood is what? Frozen in an ice thing or sitting at the bottom of a Mako reactor, right?
I don't think he even has like fresh blood or organs anymore.
So, I mean, he himself is nothing but a part of essentially Genova.
Okay, so let me ask you this: who do you think is in control, Genova or Sephiroth?
Oh,
Who do I
Sephiroth.
think?
Yeah.
No. I don't. I think that Genova's in control.
You think so?
Sephiroth is a pawn. Sephiroth is used as a manifestation and a puppet of Genova. The only problem is that if you give the puppet enough time, energy, and something to focus on, i.e. Cloud, that puppet goes out on its own.
Deal with
Right.
that.
Which is what Sephiroth has done. Sephiroth no longer wants to be controlled. Sephiroth wants to control his own destiny.
That's right.
He
He
does
wants-
not want to be
so
a
he's
pawn.
He wants to defy destiny.
He wants to defy destiny. He doesn't want to be a pawn. He is so fixated on Cloud. Who were we talking to the other day about
You're up.
Taking over.
Sephiroth being... This is the Sephiroth post-Advent Children. Who were we talking to, Justin?
Oh, man, we.
Somebody
Oh,
was talking about that theory, and I loved that theory.
who was
Absolutely
it?
loved that theory.
Nothing to it.
Dang, man. I wish I remembered.
This Sephiroth already knows what's going to happen as well, which is why he wants to defy it.
Let's
He
end this
doesn't want to
quick.
die.
Not a problem.
Right.
He does not want to be bested by Cloud again
Right.
and
Oh.
again and again. But he is tied to. I mean, think about it like this: when you kill certain, well, I'll put it in a way most people would understand if they watch anime. Think Dragon Ball Z, Perfect Cell. You obliterate everything but one cell, he regenerates, right?
Yeah.
Every time they fought or met up with Sephiroth in OG, Sephiroth always left. What did he leave behind? Piece of Genova, right? They
Right.
fought Genova, okay? They defeated that piece. You kill Sephiroth, Genova cells are still around.
Right.
Gives ample opportunity for Sephiroth to come back. He regenerates. He comes through. He is a manifestation of that. The problem is...
And hear what
he
Nine
has-
said. He says Sephiroth was injected with Genova cells while in the womb. So could Sephiroth be a reincarnation of Genova?
In theory, he still has the control, but look where. So Sephiroth's human mother that carried him was what, Lucretia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and his father was Hojo? Okay. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so you take that, right? Inject Genova. Genova now has a viable host from a baby, an embryo of sorts, right?
Right.
Plenty of time to
This won't take long.
Not at all.
meld it into what they need. It's the perfect... I use the term puppet, but I use it loosely. Host. It's the perfect
Worked up a
host
good
for
sweat.
Genova.
So what doesn't make sense is that who do you fight at the very end of the original after Genova? Who is that?
So that would be the
Bring it.
actual body of Sephiroth. Whether, I mean, you look at it as Cloud is sitting there, what looks like what he's falling
Don't overdo
until
it.
he finally finds Sephiroth. Not saying that he is literally falling to fight Sephiroth. But no matter what you have done in the game, no matter if you went out and got his level 4 limit break of Omni Slash, you know, you had ultimate weapon or whatever. When you
Right.
get to that fight,
Give your best shot.
Cloud already has the ability to just one shot. All that is a significant of, hey, I have thoroughly defeated you. Sephiroth's body being encased. Sephiroth fell into the Maka reactor. He fell into essentially the life stream, which could put him anywhere in the world, which it took him to North Crater.
Right.
Okay, and his body was
Fine.
encapsulated in
Take
a
the
crystal,
lead.
in
All
ice, which could be the actual and solid form of the life stream. You know, I mean, you see Cloud
Keep
with
those
the black
gloves up.
materia.
Sure thing, coach.
The life stream moves and parts essentially so that Cloud can put it into Sephiroth's body.
Right.
There's no way that Sephiroth's just there, alive, but he's able to be being used as a host for Genova and what's going on.
That makes sense.
Well, I also have another question. Dear Nibelheim, was that Sephiroth or was that Genova?
In the actual timeline of Sephiroth going crazy and killing everyone?
Yeah.
No, that's Sephiroth.
Okay. Well, I mean, like, is that Sephiroth, like, getting...
Piece of cake.
Is that
That-
Sephiroth
that
being
is-
mad, or...
That, to me, that is Sephiroth finding out
Don't overdo it.
Let me handle this.
he has strange gained health. He is not who he thinks he is. He is understanding that he is essentially controlled. He is now finding out what is going on in the world.
Gotcha.
And he wants, I feel that at that point, once he realizes everything that goes on, it's not necessarily, I don't think that it's him snapping. I think that it's him accepting what Genova wants.
Right.
Genova wants these
Not bad.
specific things to happen so that they can obliterate, drain the life force, and move on like they always do, right?
Right.
So the only thing he
Don't hold
doesn't
back.
You got it.
expect is
Gotcha. Oh, let's go.
being able to successfully remove Genova. Cloud stops him. He's not expecting it. So that is still Sephiroth's true body at that point. Because that's when Sephiroth's body dies.
Let's.
I thoroughly believe in my heart that Cloud actually kills him then. Plain and
Okay.
simple.
Um,
Plain and simple.
well, as much as a nice theory that is, Matt, which I'm not trying to disprove it by saying that, the developers kind of says otherwise.
They may. This is just what, like I said, what I've always thought.
Right. We're just going by our theories and that because, you know what?
Yeah.
We don't know what the heck's going to happen in Game 2. This is what I like about this. Alright, let's finish up first
Oh, yeah.
page. Let's get this party going.
I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
say this.
Okay, Zack and his Cloud become mercs, and locals are taken back by both Cloud acting totally different and Zack using the Buster Sword. So, like, Zack takes Cloud into Midgar, and Cloud recovers, and this is probably a different timeline, but the part, like, no, that can't be it. But, okay, they're in the same timeline, so it's two Clouds, but then this Cloud is totally different. He acts totally different from the merc that everybody knows about Cloud. It's like, wait a minute. He's got the Buster Sword. This is Cloud, but why is he different? And, you know,
I'm having to lay down because my back's sore.
that's fine.
So, I mean, I guess I don't get that one.
Yeah,
I mean, we don't really know how Cloud would be.
right,
Because
yeah.
by the time Cloud is, honestly, there's really anything to Cloud and his personality. He's drugged. He has Mako poisoning.
Right, so for him, we don't know how he's gonna act if he's able to
I
recover,
have
like,
no idea.
on his own, not seeing Zack die. Like, we don't know. So that's a mystery in itself. It's like,
Yeah, I have no idea.
all right, now we're on the second page now. Finally, this is gonna be a good one. I can feel it. These last two pages, they're really gonna make us talk for a while. Okay, so Zack may take over as leading protag. A aforementioned Cloud and Tifa situation. Cloud becomes Sephiroth's puppet.
Cloud turning evil.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because of what Sephiroth was doing to him. Sephiroth himself, after getting done controlling Genova.
I'd like to see that.
And Ray Kaufman, a fellow YouTuber, and he's got a lot of theories. He would love to see in probably part 3 or part 2, if they want to go that far, is, you know how Cloud like hands over the black materia, like he ends up losing himself. What if this is the ultimate Empire Strikes Back moment, where you get this crazy theme? It's mixed with Cloud's theme, like really dark, and Sephiroth's like one-winged angel. And you have to fight a corrupted Cloud as a final boss. And that's it. Empire Strikes Back. Cloud is evil. You have to fight him. Party is lost. Tifa and Barrett's already to be executed on live television, and Meteor has been summoned. End of part 2.
I was thinking
Let's roll
about
credits.
those chosen about the planet until you realized that, oh, we had to fight him.
So like an evil Cloud, and Cloud's like grunting. He's going nuts, like in between like phases, and he's so powerful that he's making the party look silly. But like, and the party's like holding back. It's like, what do we do here? Do we fight Cloud and stop him? Like, can you imagine that mentality? Like, for the players and for the party, if they fight Cloud like that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sick.
Yeah,
Pretty
well,
awesome.
like, just imagine people's reaction. It's like, what's going on? It's like, and everybody's like freaking the hell out. Like, it's like, what are you doing, Square? And it's like, this is too much. I don't know how to process all this. And then like, it's like, then it cuts to black after you get done. You see other final cutscene. Yeah, 9. Have a wonderful night, man, and feel free to finish watching the stream at a later date. We're gonna keep going for a while. Thank you for joining, and have a wonderful night, buddy. But yeah, how sick would that be? And just hearing that really sick and like really dark music, like Cloud's theme really twisted into like an evil version of it, and just seeing Cloud like losing himself in between the phases, like, man. And like Tifa breaking down, and like she can't fight him. It's like, I can't, like, she's out of it. Like, you're gonna be down another member, like 2 party members like down because one's evil, one can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, wow. I listened to Ray Kaufman's like theory on that, like what he wants to see in part 2. I was like, man, that'd be so sick.
That would be something amazing
I personally
to see.
just want to. If I have a theory of my own, but it's kind of more or less
Yeah.
out of line with what we're talking about. I know we're talking about Zack, but yeah.
This is fine. This is all part of it. Zack's gonna have to take a leading role because Cloud is messed up, and Tifa don't know how to handle herself, and Barrett, like, I can't imagine Barrett's like, I don't know what to do. I'm a leader of Avalanche. I can't handle this. Then Zack have to step in and say, guys, we're gonna have to take a breather here and just get our bearings, because he has to take the major lead now. Instead of Sid, it's Zack.
Oh,
I mean,
I like that.
yeah, it's just so many good ideas about Zack. I'm glad. Hollis, if you're watching this later on, man, thank you for these wonderful notes. It's so juicy. It's so good. I cannot wait to read more.
Juicy.
Yeah, Brandon's juicy about it. Oh no. You guys ready for this one?
What's
The
up?
possibility of Zack and Cloud have to fight each other. Like, Zack has to fight the evil Cloud.
Absolutely, bring it on.
One-on-one. Oh, man. So sick. Oh, man. Like, the party can't fight, as they can't fight Cloud, and Zack goes, no worry, gang. As an honor as a soldier, I'll handle this. He's my best friend. Oh, man. Oh, I can see it now. Square, if you paid attention.
Please make that a possibility.
Please let Cloud be evil.
Yeah.
Please let Cloud just be under his control. Also, if I may just go ahead and say my theory real quick.
Yeah,
just
go
kinda
ahead.
Get it out of the way. I personally think that even though we saw more of a human-like Sephiroth in Crisis Core, I personally think that he was always filled with hatred and bloodlust, even as a kid. Because he was very young when he was sent to war, so it kind of like messed with his head a little bit.
Oh yeah,
And-
Sephiroth even mentioned that he always felt different as a kid, like growing up. He always felt different,
absolutely.
and he thought he's special, but not so hideous monster. That's what really made him lose his shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was also thinking that, especially like if you take the scene where Sephiroth, Genesis, and Angeal was fighting, like
Yeah.
they started off as having fun, right? This is a simple
Yeah.
training exercise. It ended with basically Sephiroth nearly decapitating Genesis.
Oh yeah.
Because let's face it, Sephiroth versus Genesis, Genesis losing 10 out of 10 times.
Oh yeah. And I can't. Man, it's just a lot to process. And we're only on the second page. We got a lot of juiciness coming on.
Mhm.
And also,
Yeah.
because he's so filled with bloodlust, he killed some innocent. Not only, you know how like psychopaths usually start off like by killing animals, for example.
Right.
That's what Sephiroth does, and then he ends up like killing innocent people during the Wutai War. And Angeal and even Genesis, who usually wouldn't even give a shit, would just be like, "Whoa, that's really too far, man." And he doesn't realize this because he's like filled with anger and so much hatred
Right.
towards humanity already, given the fact about how he was treated, that it wasn't like a 7 days a week process. Like, oh, I'm perfectly fine. Oh, that's kind of sad. So like,
Right.
I'm full of anger and hatred and want to kill everything and everybody. It was a slow process over time. And also to be filled with so much anger and hatred kind of like made him be able to overpower Genova because he was so mad and like filled with every single
Right.
bit of hatred and anger possible that he overthrew her, possibly killed her, which in my opinion that Genova was alive, but he killed her in Nibelheim because he chopped off her head and like took
Right.
her
Like
head
Sephiroth.
with him.
Sephiroth is like he's sick and twisted to like cut off body parts and carry around. Like that's not normal. But, yeah, you're
Like,
sick and twisted in the head to be doing that, and burn down the village. And he admitted to Cloud that he stabbed his mother with his sword while she's begging him not to kill Cloud. How sick and twisted that is.
and vivid detail as well.
Yeah,
I
it's like
swear.
it's like
If
she
if they
yielding.
made part 1 M-rated, sorry for
Yeah.
interrupting, Justin. If they made it M-rated, he would have full blown gone into detail about like maybe like about the organs and blood and everything. Like I mean,
Oh, I don't know
they're
about that, but
well, in my opinion, he would if it was M-rated because like I think what's funny is how Square and Sephiroth's fans are like a total opposite, where Square is going like, you see this guy right here?
yeah,
He's not like your husbando or anything like that. He's a very fucked up and twisted man. Again, pardon my French. He's not someone you want. Trust me on that. And
right.
here they are giving stuff off like cat ears and whiskers and stuff like that, making them all cutesy, and I'm just over here like, no, that's not him at all.
Right. And we're about done with the this section. This last part here is the last section of Zack being on the same timeline as Cloud and them. So this is the big one. Zack living could pose a bigger issues regarding Cloud's development, never becoming the hero he needs to be to take down Sephiroth, because Zack's alive. That could interrupt things.
Very much so.
I can see that happening. I can see Zack just being alive is messing up Cloud's his story arc to the point where he doesn't become the hero he needs to be. Like, wow, that's a big change.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Brandon?
I think that I don't think it would really mess up anything because despite Zack not being dead, I personally think that his burning hatred for Sephiroth will fuel him enough.
Feel him enough where Cloud still undertakes the development he needs to become the hero that Tifa says, I know you are, Cloud, if you want to play the hero. Remember that in part 1? I was just like, man, she knows. She knows already.
Right.
That was so sick. Okay, now, this, from here on out, as Zack, this is, from here on out, this is if Zack is in his own timeline. So here we go. This is multi-timeline universe theories.
Okay.
Cloud may never encounter Tifa in Zack's timeline. So this is in his timeline. This is everything that's going to happen. Cloud may never encounter Tifa. False soldier persona never forms. Cloud must deal with his own trauma another way. Maybe with Zack's help?
Okay, so Cloud just never goes into Midgar then.
Yeah, like, if he goes to Midgar, he never runs into Tifa, and Zack's the one's gotta mend him back to where Cloud needs to be. Pretty much. So that's his in timeline. Which I could see. Because anything can happen. This could be two multiplayer timelines, it could be all the same one. But this is interesting ideas right here.
I mean, the only thing that I would question is if he's in a completely other timeline and he succeeded in defeating all of the Shinra soldiers, then
Right.
he would still take Cloud into Midgar. That's the whole point of him taking Cloud is to Midgar to become a merc.
Right.
I mean, at some point he would still. I mean, Cloud's not going to have the Zack personification. There's nothing to save at that point.
Right.
You know, Cloud having the Mako poisoning and seeing the embodiment of his friend, not realizing it, you know, that he's dead and that's who he's embodying, basically. I mean, Cloud would essentially just be non-existent and would end up just becoming a merc still. He would probably still see Tifa, but nothing would come of it at that point.
Right. Okay, now
I think at that point Sephiroth would win.
right, because everything's going not the way the planet wants, because it's going against. It's basically, Sephiroth's already. He don't need to worry about changing destiny because it's already changed in this timeline. So it's like, yep, he wins. Another one here is Biggs and potentially Jesse and Wedge meets Zack, or was Zack in his Cloud? Biggs is highly confused or disturbed. Perhaps he would join Zack as a party member in that timeline. That's an interesting idea. Oh, Brandon's getting tired. We're not done yet, Brandon. Stay awake.
No, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and go to sleep. Good night.
Are you?
Not really.
Oh.
I'm just joking.
Oh, okay.
Scared us.
Oh man. Oh, scared me so much. Okay. Back.
Don't make me and
There's so
Justin
much.
stay on. Don't make me and Justin stay on the phone for another 5 hours.
Don't
Oh,
leave
boy.
me.
Okay, if Zack is in the same timeline as main Cloud, has the main party crossed over, or has Zack? That's an interesting idea. Question.
Crossed over as far as different timelines.
Yeah, like, did Zack cross over to the new timeline, or did the party cross over to the new timeline?
Now there's something that's interesting.
Yeah, for sure. That's something to think about.
That is.
Like, does Zack and them, did the Cloud and them, get out of Singularity and they were ported over to the new timeline with Zack? Or was Zack, when he survived and the big friggin' explosion, it just done a transition over to the new timeline where Cloud and them are in? Oh man, that's a good question. Oh. That's a good question. What do you think, Brandon? You think Zack crossed over to the new timeline with the Terry timeline, or did the Cloud and Party go over to the new timeline where Zack's alive?
I think Cloud and Party.
Cloud and Party come out of the Singularity and they just dropped in the new timeline where Zack's alive?
Mm-hmm.
That could be it. I think so. Because that makes more sense than Zack being dropped, because he was there, right? Cloud and them were in the singularity. So I agree with you, Brandon. I think Cloud and them were actually dropped in the new timeline, which is the Terry
It
timeline.
makes more sense.
Yeah, right.
Because of the different dogs and the fact that Zack and his timeline had a different dog, and
Right.
that would also make more sense because
It
I
makes
think I
more
saw
sense in the
another
lore
stamp- I think I saw-
perspective too. So
I think I saw another stamp, and the timeline that they crossed over, and it was the exact same stamp there in Zack's.
you know, it makes more sense for story wise, because they say that Zack dropped in the new timeline. It's like, well, we didn't see that transition. Well, we didn't see the transition of Zack, Cloud and them, but that makes more sense for them crossing over than Zack.
I mean, don't we see
Zack-
the transition of them crossing over?
Well, yeah, towards the ending when Sephiroth opens the portal and Aerith like makes the portal able so they can be able to go across the portal, basically dimensions.
Man, just so many. Oh, man, that was so good. Final Fat Nut, Hollis, thank you for that question. That was good, man. You put a lot of effort and thoughts in all these. I was liking this. Alright, now we're on page 3. Here we go. If the party is in the Terry timeline, when will they notice? If Zack has only just reached Midgar as the party leaves, then the party is leaving before the first bombing mission? How far ahead will they get?
I think my controller's about to die.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to charge it, and people will see my entire body. They'll see how I'm like a walrus.
Oh, please.
Well, sign me up, brother, because I love SeaWorld. Let's do it,
Wow.
I'll ride you when I see you. Wait, that sounds wrong. Hello.
Okay.
Can you see my entire body? Good, I'm covering it up.
Well, anyways, for me, the first part of this question, the earliest the party will start noticing things is in Calm. I think they might see a bag of chips of Stamp and go, wait a minute. Wasn't he supposed to be a beagle? That's what I'm thinking.
Let's stop a broadcast.
Oh no.
Just out of curiosity.
Do what?
It'll stop the broadcast if you close out of the game, because you're supposed to be inside a game when you're live streaming. Let's see. If Zack only just reached Midgar as the party if the party leaves, then the party is leaving before the first bombing mission. How far will they get? How ahead will they get? I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a good question. But what do you think, Matt and Brandon? What do you think the earliest that the party will realize they're in a different timeline when they see the new stamp? How early?
I personally think it'll be when they go to Nibelheim.
That's
That
interesting.
far?
That far? Well, they're gonna run into Bugenhagen, so I think they're
Did they
gonna
reach Bugenhagen before or after Nibelheim?
before.
Before.
Okay.
Oh, somebody's fans on.
Not mine.
That's mine. It's freaking hot in here.
I imagine down in Texas. Alright,
I can barely hear
so
any of y'all's audio. What's going on?
I don't know. My audio's fine.
My audio is good.
Hang on,
I hear-
let me try this again.
I hear Matt and you just fine, so.
Just me and my Elden Ring.
Me and my Elden Ring. Okay, so
Oh,
how
it's because
early?
I turned it down accidentally.
So how early do you think, Matt, when they realize they're in a different timeline? Like,
That's a really good question.
it is. It's a question that everybody wants answers to. It's like, when are they gonna realize they're on a different timeline? When something's not right here.
I don't think that it would take them. Well, I don't know, because I would think Calm being the next town that they're on their way to.
Right, and they
Well, it's
are.
wrapping around my
but-
neck.
Oof. I mean,
There
the
you go.
problem with that is, I mean, they probably already think that things are different because they're defying destiny and they know that everything has changed anyway.
Right.
So, would they take it at face value that this is legitimately a different timeline, a different era, or is this, okay, we just defied destiny, so some things are just a little bit different?
Right. And even with all the dialogue we got post-ending, not once did the party talk about, so, the Whispers are gone, how different our things are. Like, they never questioned that. Like, they just went off like, okay, we gotta find Sephiroth, I'm gonna join you guys need a nose like mine. If he's an enemy of the planet, he's an enemy of the Avalanche. And Cloud's like, Sephiroth, and then they're like walking the Calm, they're talking, bantering, all that, and like they haven't mentioned about what the heck just happened in the Singularity. So it's like,
I promise I will get a better setup when I move. That way nobody has to see me laying on my bed.
oh my.
Because it doesn't look like a stream, it looks like something else.
Wow, chicka, wow, wow.
Thanks, Matt.
Okay. Oh, here's a good one. Has Rufus crossed over? Perhaps Zack really is in a separate timeline with the gang in the Bigo timeline. And Rufus?
Rufus didn't cross over.
Yeah, I don't think he did. Because he wasn't part of the whole Singularity. However,
Plus,
devs does say those that see the Whispers they have a major role in like the story and the timeline and that. Like, so Rufus is a big dog. He's a big chess piece on this board. He's probably, other than Cloud and the gang, and Aerith and Sephiroth, Rufus is like, he's another big piece on that chessboard.
Rufus is my boy. I love him.
It's like, so that would
You
mean
love
that
so
I
much, why
own
don't
you.
marry him?
Oh, he's so sick.
I loved the cockiness of him in Remake.
Right. And Cloud's
Like Rufus and OG to me, like, I mean, he had an arrogance to him,
yeah,
but it wasn't, I don't think they fleshed it out good enough.
right.
But
And,
just him right off rip in Remake was amazing.
I know, right?
You wanted to hate him so bad, but he was so charismatic at the same
And
time.
he had that cocky like smirk on his face when he said,
Oh, yeah. Like, they
you're
portrayed
a
it so
soldier, right?
beautifully.
I own your ass. I
Oh,
own
yeah.
you." And Cloud's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I quit."
Yeah.
I
So
feel like
good.
Remake Sephiroth is supposed to... Remake Rufus is supposed to be what Sephiroth is in the original, or whatever.
Oh, Sephiroth is he's still cocky. He's toying with Cloud. He's got a little bone in his hand. Go, hoo, hoo, hoo. Come here, Cloud. Come here. Join me.
I
Follow
think
me.
it's something else.
But yeah. I can't wait to see what Rufus's his big role is. Like, he's gonna have a massive role. He's gonna be expanded upon for sure because,
Oh, absolutely.
like,
I
the
hope they
frickin'
keep
the frickin' ending, like, when it's like any moment now, Avalanche is gonna try to draw out the president. You wanna know why? As Rufus ordered them to. You get him out, you take out my dad, I become president, and I'll give you guys rewards for it.
I hope that they keep him. Stop it with that horse laugh.
Oh yeah, I hope so too. That'd be freaking hilarious. Okay. If Zack has arrived with the plate intact, why has Aerith's church been filled with crying refugees? Check PS5 version. So why is people mourning if the plate's still intact? That's a good question.
It is.
Because that, I mean, what else could possibly happen? That, and the only thing I can remember is I posted the reaction to the Yuffie DLC ending for Maximilian Dude and the Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 channel, I think. And only thing he had to think of is like he watched he watched the ending twice, and right at the last he's like, Aerith dies in Zack's timeline. He's like, fuck, and that's like the last thing he remembered. That's why everybody's in tears, is that Aerith is dead in Zack's timeline.
So he doesn't know where his best friend is, his mentor went insane and died, and his girlfriend died. Man, what a shitty life.
So like, that's really interesting. Like what else? Why they be there being mourning though? And like, they only know Zack bursts in the door either. Like nobody looks at him. If somebody bursts in the church, even though I was mourning, I'd be like, "Who's that?" You know, that's your reaction, right?
Well, yeah.
Okay, here's a good question: is Biggs alive in the Beagle or Terrier timeline?
In the original timeline, whichever that is, which is it? Beagle?
Beagle.
Yeah, I feel like in the Beagle timeline he is.
Matt, what do you think?
We've seen...
Well, I mean, it stands to reason we didn't have any other thought process to think other than Beagle timeline.
Right. Because,
you know, I mean, there's quite a few changes.
And like Zack, like the way Square Enix put the ending together, like the ending CGI, not CGI, but like the ending scenes, like they put Zack in the Terrier timeline bag, swooping in front of the screen first, then it moved on to Biggs being alive. So it's like, what are you trying to do here, Square?
Yeah.
So I was like, So me, I think the Terrier timeline is where Biggs is alive. Which goes in line with my theory that everybody's on the Terrier timeline now. Is the Beagle timeline been decimated by defeating Fate? Oops. Because remember what Red 13 said before he entered the portal, he talked to him, he says, he goes, is it our destiny to defy destiny? Red 13, you got a good question there. Is it our destiny to defy destiny? And we went in there and defied destiny, and now we got all this mess. Zack's alive, Biggs alive. Oh boy. So you both are saying Beagle timeline that Biggs is alive?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that would be my thought process, yeah.
Yeah, I could see.
I mean, I could see it either way, though.
Right. Me too. I can see it go both ways, and that's what's scary. Like, we can see things going both ways, and we have no freaking answers for it. Oh, Square, you did it again. You guys talking about Final Fantasy VII again for the next 15, 20 years.
That's
You
such a
laughed so
beautiful
hard
thing.
you cut out.
Uh-oh.
You're like, I just cut out.
Okay, the last... I think this is last... Yeah, this is the last one. This is a long statement. It says, this is unrelated to Zack. while in the singularity, the party is at full power. They would have, at their peak, shown by Cloud cutting through trains and concrete. Cutting through these would have been ideal during Chapter 11 while hurrying to Sector 7 pillar, but it is not what they do, indicating they were not capable of such a feat outside of singularity. Like Cloud jumping, millions, hundreds of feet in the air and cutting through trains and concrete, while in Chapter 11 or Chapter whatever, he has a hard time jumping and cutting through things.
Say that again.
While in the singularity, the party is at full power. They would have at their peak, shown by Cloud cutting through trains and concrete. Cutting through these would have been ideal during Chapter 11, while hurrying to the Sector 7 pillar, but it is not what they do, indicating they were not capable of such a feat outside of singularity. So what he means is, because they were inside the singularity, they all of a sudden had these massive, god-tier powers where Cloud's able to cut through trains and stuff like he did in Advent Children. And Tifa, doing a spinning kick and cutting through concrete like butter. So, you guys think that's the cause because of singularity, or what?
Hmm.
For game purposes.
Because that always had me questioning too. It's like, man, how come Cloud can't cut through trains and that and during the game, but in the singularity, he's like Advent Children, full power strength. Which is dope. That's still dope. But yeah, that's a good observation because, how many people really picked up on that other than just a few people? Most people be just flipping out about what are we doing here? We're fighting Sephiroth? What? It's you don't have time to focus on the choreography and all that and seeing what the party is doing. But you look back, it's wait a minute, this is odd.
Yeah.
It's when did Cloud get this strength from?
That's for certain.
Yeah, for sure. Wow, that's it. That's the 3 pages of notes that Final Fat Nut Hollis had to offer.
I guess you could say this was his final nut.
Oh no. Bro.
His final nut I guess you could say this was the final nut to crack.
Wow. Anything can happen on stream, folks. Anything can happen.
Especially when I'm on board. Matt, you got anything to say?
To that comment, no.
I meant anything, not directly to my
I'll leave you in that puddle by yourself.
Oh no. He's in the puddle by himself.
Laughing and laugh. Joke.
No, I mean I'm excited for part 2. There's quite a few good theories that are out there.
Go.
I mean, it gives such a great anticipation for people.
If this is what
For
you
sure.
want.
So I mean, one good thing
No
about
surprises
theories is
there.
it brings the community together.
Yep, despite
Also
all our
divides
differences. Yeah.
Yeah, it also divides it.
Oh yeah,
But-
definitely.
I mean, any community is going to have good and bad, but
You asked for it.
just the amount of theories, the amount that
All set.
Square has
Bring it.
teased it's really cool. I mean,
Gotcha.
it gives talking points. It gives time for people to build
Right?
anticipation.
Would kill for
You know,
a
I've-
shower.
Dude, I've been anticipating it since. God, when did PS3 get announced? 2000.
Seriously.
2000.
2006.
Yeah, 2006 I think it was.
Yeah. No, I've been waiting since then.
Right, because what they do the tech demo. Oh, we're gonna do the intro for Final Fantasy
That's a
VII.
win.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I mean that's what I've been waiting for ever since. I still
Right.
have an original wall scroll from when that happened that
Oh,
has
man.
that cloud from
Won't
that
be tough.
PS3
Of course not.
intro demo. Like that's the wall scroll for Final Fantasy VII that I still have.
Oh man, that's so sick.
So yeah, it really is. Like I love that wall scroll. It's not something you'll find nowadays, you know. But when they first announced it, that was
Hang back.
what there was. So I've been waiting
Right?
16 years. 16 years now.
Not
Are
bad.
you good with waiting another 16 years?
I mean, if I got to.
Yeah, well, we're gonna be waiting
You
for a
know?
while, and you know what? You know what's really funny, guys, is we're gonna get part 2 review this year. Katase
Like a
had to
trailer?
confirm it twice. He says if we're able to, he goes, well, yeah, we're gonna talk about part 2 this year, guaranteed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You mean like a trailer or something, or just like news?
It can be just information dump. They got stuff they can show us. They've been working on this game for over 2.5 years already.
3 years.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sure they've been working on it since part 1.
Right.
They're
Even
not-
Katase said in an interview that
Compared to
they
other releases.
they were already starting the beginning stage development on part 2, while the rest of the team is finishing up part 1. And that was back in right after E3, after done that big old showcase,
Yeah.
and they entered full development, which means they're in full production development of part 2 in 2020 in July. That means they're cranking. They already got their engine already chosen. They already got the assets they're gonna use. They just said we're ready to crank this out.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hold back.
You got
And man, I can't wait. Just seeing what Vince is gonna look like, and what Dine's gonna look like, how Nibelheim's gonna look like. Oh, we already know a little bit. Like Cosmo Canyon, Sid, Elena, maybe being able to fight
Just like
Song.
that, okay?
I got you.
finally fight Song. That'd be freaking hilarious. That'd be freaking awesome.
Finally fight, who else can we fight?
Like, just imagine, guys. We open up part 2. We're inside the Nibelheim flashback, and the very first tutorial boss is against a dragon in 4K. How sick is that gonna
This is
be?
what you want.
And Cloud and Sapphire's gonna be able to do a team up attack.
I got it.
I can imagine part 2 is going to look better than Kingdom Hearts 4, especially in the world where Kingdom Hearts 4 is more realistic. I can already imagine.
Oh, you guys, I don't know if you guys checked out the trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4.
I did.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the part where the Heartless is about ready to form, like he saw that black ball, like he's about ready to form. If you look over the right-hand side of the screen, the skyscraper, Nomura purposely put something there to tease fans about something else.
Oh, which he does.
Yeah, and guess what it was? It was a freaking glowing trees in the ancient city where Aerith dies. It's like, Nomura, you're ready to showcase this game inside of a game.
Yeah.
Like I said, I still feel like that part 2 is going to look way better than Kingdom Hearts 4.
No surprises there.
And I think, and a lot of people think that part 2 is going to be on Unreal Engine 5. Since they've been working on part 2 for over 2 years, and Unreal Engine 5 wasn't quite ready yet, I don't think part 2 is going to take form. It's going to take, not form, but it's going to take advantage of like the newer version of Unreal Engine 4, which is going to help part 2 make it better, more crispier,
better looking,
Yeah.
better FPS. I mean, have you seen the things
They're
that can be
nothing.
made on Unreal
Compared
Engine
to
4?
us, at
Unreal
least.
Engine 4 isn't something you can just slouch.
right.
They can make good looking games.
for sure.
Just because Unreal Engine
Keep those
4
gloves up.
doesn't have like
Sure
the real
thing,
graphics
Coach.
for, oh, I can't tell whether this is real life or a game. It doesn't mean that like, oh,
Let's
hey,
end this quick.
the graphics
Not
on
a
Unreal
problem.
Engine 4 are shit. You know?
Gotcha.
It's on you.
All set. Take that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like,
That's the
but
way
even
to it.
Kingdom Hearts 4, when they showcase like what Sora looks like in the city and that, I was blown away by how massively different it looked from Kingdom Hearts 3. I was like, holy crap, this looks good.
You're dead.
Like, and people like, a lot of people like saying, finally, Kingdom Hearts is actually looking like we wanted to look.
I mean,
Let's go.
Kingdom Hearts was meant to be very, not necessarily cartoony, but
Really animated.
I mean, it
look,
was,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was a true collaboration between Disney and Square.
Right.
You know, and I mean, that's an animation style. I mean, look at Sora's feet. You know,
Right.
he had the Disney feet.
I got this.
You know,
For
that
sure.
was the strong point. I mean, just looking at the trailer from 4, now it's leaned hard on the Square side rather than the Disney side.
Right.
Which is fine. I thought it looked beautiful.
Right, like, just seeing Sora and like that visual upgrade, I was like, wow, that blew my mind.
Yeah, it was
Nothing to
amazing. It really did, yeah. I agree. That was
So,
very
like,
mind-blowing.
Just seeing like, man, that's what Kingdom Hearts 4 is gonna look like part 2, man. This part 2 is gonna be like the main course. This is gonna be like all that like that big juicy 12-ounce steak with the potatoes and all that. I was like, oh, just feed me more.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's end this quick.
So like,
Not a problem.
anyway, so final thoughts before we end the stream. So we all are on the same page, maybe? What you guys leaning towards? Zack be on the same timeline, or are we talking about multiple timelines here? Final
I say
summary.
that he's in a different timeline.
Alright, so which one is he on? Beagle or Terry?
Terrier.
Well, I mean, it showed Zack with the terrier, so...
Alright. So, you're leaning
I mean,
heavy on the multiple timelines? How about you, Matt?
I thoroughly hope it's one timeline.
You know what? I agree with you. I think everybody's converged on the new timeline because they defeated Fate, and that's the Terrier timeline. That's my final say. That's my final theory. I'm sticking with it, and I cannot wait to see whether or not what it's going to be, and within a short year or so, when we finally get the game in our hands.
I hope we get a trailer.
Okay,
I'm really
so-
hoping.
Final thoughts on when do you think we'll see part 2 drop, and what do you think they're going to show us this year?
I personally
that I
think
got
they're
no
going to
clue,
show us.
man.
I personally think they're going to show us like a 2-minute trailer because they've already technically shown us a teaser of part 2 after Intergrade. So
Yeah.
why show another teaser? Like
I
that's not what
I
they
think we're
usually
gonna
do.
see.
They usually just show one teaser and that's about it. And they show like good 2 to 3 minute long trailers.
Yeah,
all
I
over.
think what
This
we're
is
going to
more so
see.
going to be a 2-minute trailer. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want to continue?
I'll say this. I'll let you continue. All I'm gonna say is, when they're ready to show us a trailer, they're gonna show us like different locations, and they're gonna use these trailers to reveal a new character. So we already seen Kashi or Kesa and Yuffie, right? I think one of the first 2 trailers, we're gonna see Vincent like we do with Red 13. We're gonna see him and we're gonna hear him talk, and that's gonna blow people's minds. They're gonna get them excited along seeing like different parts of the world of Gaia, just to get us hyped and talking about part 2. And I think if everything goes well with 16, and 16 does come out this year, which we don't know. They're supposed to talk about this spring and showcase it some more, and Yoshi P said, next time you see the game, it'll be right in your hands, pretty much.
I just hope that they don't miscast
Yes.
Vincent like they did with Sephiroth.
Yeah. If 16 if 16 launches this year, I could see Part 2 launching later on in 2023. If not, it'd be 2024. Depends on 16's release.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'd say release this year because they said that if the next time you see a trailer, it'll basically be ready. Like, oh, I want that in my hands. Well, you got
Yeah.
it because,
Yeah.
and they said that they'll show us something in spring, and it's spring. So
Don't overdo it.
Let me
come on, I swear.
Right?
There's more.
And I'm really excited about 16. So, alright guys, I think we're going to call it good. It's been an amazing conversation about Zack, his role going forward, and whether or not he's on the same timeline as Cloud or not. We can't wait to see what Part 2 has in store. And you guys know, when any information or trailer drops, I will cover us on my channel. So, with that said, thank you, Matt. Thank you, Brandon, for joining me on this awesome stream. It's been awesome to talk about Zack and his role going forward. And thank you guys for tuning in. If you're watching this at a later date, if you guys want more Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 talk, spoilers, whatnot, if you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay notified when I go live or upload my next video. And with that said, you guys have a wonderful day, wonderful night. Keep on keeping on. I'll catch you on the next video. You guys know what to do. Links in the description below for Twitch, Twitter, and Discord. Feel free to follow me on both of those and join Discord, and we can talk more about Zack's role and among other things in Part 2. So with that said, guys, be safe out there. Be nice to each other. Love you guys. God bless. Thank you guys for love and support as always. I'll talk to you guys on the next video. Take care.
Alright guys, that was me with my friends over here. They would like to say goodbye and see you in the next video. This has been Zealous Runner as well with J19 and Mr. Matthew. And I'm glad that you guys have been able to stop by. So thank you guys for stopping by. Like Justin said, and I'm going to say as well, my links all in the description whenever I'm not too lazy enough to not put them in there. So I will talk to you guys later, and I hope you have a good day or good night, depending on what time it is for you in your guys' area. Alright, so I will see you guys in the next video. God bless. See you later.
Bye-bye.